Hello, one and all, and welcome to Smite Prime. My name is Moonmellows, and I have the whole Smite Prime team behind me. I've got Tesdai, we got Jithens, and of course, we have the amazing Musicland. Musi, how you doing?
I'm doing baby. Pretty good. Boom! At 8 in the morning. It's bright, it's early. It's actually not bright because it's pouring rain outside, but that doesn't mean that it's not all sunshine and rainbows for us here in the Smite Prime booth. Moon. There's so many exciting things to talk about, but you just talk about what we doing up in here, right?
What we doing indeed, and that is gonna be none other than the Summer Bash, everyone. Let's talk about it because it's been a phenomenal, well, for lack of a better word, a bash. All throughout June 14th to August 1st, players had the chance to win $8,100. That's a lot of money.
Oh my goodness. And it's split over so many different events, this being the last event, the Joust event here in EU, on the old EU ping, so I'm thinking about, Deduin's basement, showing up again this time. Not having to worry about their abilities coming out a second later for that $525.
They looked good last time on NHL, so certainly on the home turf. But what are they up against? Well, let's go ahead and get those brackets up as we see who Deduin's basement have to work through, and also all the other teams we have available to us.
Big bald men, shout outs. You and me, big bald men. I'm right there with you. Bazinga. That's a good one. Kebab baguette. A little cultural mix there. I can get down for that. Dodoon's
Bob again?
Basement's back. Laboogs, Hydrogen Bomb. All of these look very familiar.
But these are all the teams, but that's not the ones we're going to be watching. In fact, we're going to be starting off with Dodoon's Basement versus Pupsiski. So really excited to see the people who won the last NA Joust tournament. You mentioned it. They weren't on the home turf, and now they are. So really expecting to see some Sparks play.
And if anything, if we could take anything from the last Joust tournament that we had going into this one, I think we have a pretty good understanding of what picks are going to be solid. Now, there were some balance changes that have been between there and now. Specifically, Shifter Shield has been looked at. Last week, it was just Shifter Shields all the way down. Now, this week, because Shifter Shield had some strength and int taking off of it, maybe not as appealing of an item towards characters that are a little bit more on the squishier side, or damage dealers. Notice that ever since that kind of went down, the mids and the ADCs have been looking at some other toys instead. But it's still a very viable item to be had for any tanks if they want to slot it into theirs. Healers are the name of the game for Joust in terms of, drafting your composition. Guan Yu is going to be something that I still feel is going to be very, very focused on heading into these picks and bans.
Picks and bans versus the Dodoon's Basements and Pupsiki? I don't know how to say their name, but some big name games. Pupsiki?
Pupsiki.
What is that? What is that?
I don't know. Ari? Ari-God? I thought I saw Ari and I went, Ari, the Overwatch Valorant caster? That's crazy. Welcome to Smite. Dopest in the zone. Shout outs. And Pios. Boom.
Yeah. That's a good one. All three people I don't know. That's exciting against people that I do know. And what we do know about Joust is we've talked about it. We've seen it. Guan Yu.
Mm-hmm.
I specifically don't really want to see it because I just don't want to be hearing, "Get behind me," or "I can heal you." Just green flashes on our screen for 30 minutes.
It's a conviction, boom, right? And you're like, ah! And the part of it that makes it so hard to deal with too is the fact that it lowers your cooldowns as well every time you're popping that conviction. And that is like the secret insidious part of that ability. But if we are banning out Guan Yu, there are other picks to be looked at as well. Hercules is still very, very unkillable, especially when there's not enough players to hold him down. Like, who is gonna make that king listen to their demands, right? That dude is just too big and too strong. So I'm looking at Hercules. I'm looking at Kabrakan. I'm looking at 2 pass bans from Pupsiki.
Ooh.
That's spicy. We do it to lock in a Jing Chen right away.
That's Aura, and it makes a lot of sense. Jing Chen able to spin around. No aspect available to us here yet, so we know exactly what he's going. But also a pretty big pick, and there it is, the big man, and also the E-set, Dodoon's Basement. They pulled this out last week, and they made it look incredibly good as well.
And I feel like the E-set will be going the aspect, so that you can do like the Bumba's Runeforge and then just build a lot of utility backup for the Hercules. So that's going to be pretty strong. And then, now Sap usually likes to play some kind of damage dealer in ADC. And I know the ADC build. There are some shenanigans to be had here. There are shenanigans that are going on right now. The 3 new ADC items that were added to the game: Silver Branch, Dominance, Toxic Blade. Silver Branch is one of those items that just brings about a whole new level of tomfoolery if the Dodoon's Basement can get us to those, 7 items fully built. And in these Joust games, Moon, you have one of 2 options that happens, right? Either this game's over before 10 minutes, or this game is going to 25 minutes. There's not too much of a middle ground.
And during those 25 minutes, it's these teams just farming. There's a lot less gold to be fought over. So especially with hunters being dare I say it, way better than they were last week with these 3 new items. I'm expecting probably this might be going a little bit later.
Yeah, both teams want to be able to scale their hunters. Hou Yi needs to get to late game, Honor needs to get to late game, but the tanks can have fun while the ADCs are stuck at the grocery line.
When they're stuck in the grocery line, there's only one place to begin, and that's on the streets of the Joust map. Game number 1 of the EU Joust tourney coming at you. It's Deduin's Basement versus Upsiki. My name's Moonmellows. I'm joined here by Musicland, and our eyes in the sky is none other than Jithens and Tezdai, keeping everything up on lock. And not only is it ESET, that aspect of the Life Warden, also the Hou Yi aspect out here.
Minions have spawned.
The Hou Yi aspect, but also the Hou Yi with Agility Relic, is a little concerning to me, right? Think about who you're playing into. Hercules and ESET. ESET's able to find a silence. Hercules can pluck them driving strike combo. This ESET is dead. Or this Hou Yi is dead, rather. So, Ahri needs to be extra careful about their spacing when it comes to hanging around these CC threats that Hercules and ESET can represent. And even on her pillar, like, he throws out the pillar, it catches the little agility sprint there, and then puts it straight into a pillar stun. So you're like, okay, no caliente. Now, on the other side of things, though...
Oh. Deduin plucked back on in, pushed back out, so he's able to get, but we're still running down at him. Xingqian gonna be stunned on out, but he's pulled back under the tower. Shell forced on out already early. No one's fallen down, but already we're getting aggressive.
Holy. Shoutouts to mitigate wounds from Hercules there to keep him alive. And that little rune. Starter items do matter. So even just a little extra, what is that, like 6 magical protection to start things off. Dune will be able to kiss his lucky rune. Go back to base there. Level 5s are going to be pretty interesting for this team. Pupsiki has the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel when it comes to Xingqian. And then, because you've got that ultimate, that's going to burn a whole bunch of beads. ESET doesn't have a CC immune ultimate, although Hercules does, and Honor does. So this means ESET will be a prime target to get plucked right afterwards. So being able to look for that guy after you burn out all these beads is going to be the way to go. I feel like that's how Pupsiki plays this game. The thing is, that's all we really have for CC, right? Hou Yi with the aspect, notably, his autos can bounce, but he loses the ricochet stun, so you don't really have too much to follow up with after the fact. Xingqian should be able to get in Deduin's Basement's faces, though. Also, look how annoying that is. Good lord.
He's just standing here and adapting. He's already at half health. On the wraparound, Deduin pushes him back towards the tower. Agility Relic, dive bomb, he's safe. And, I mean, I feel like we're just going to be seeing a lot of that. You mentioned this Agility Relic kind of not being that beats that you would like, but still, he doesn't even care. Just let those autos fly.
Might as well hold left click. What this does is just make so much space for Pupsiki. So, he's able to keep a bunch of pressure onto Deduin's Basement. They can't really walk up. They can't play the game. Honestly, this makes the Agility Relic feel a little bit more valuable, because how is Deduin's Basement supposed to walk up to find any kind of pressure? So long as Ahri can just keep autoing those walls to keep Deduin spaced away, not a whole lot that Deduin can do. Now, here's the thing with that, Moon. Deduin's Basement is ultimately fine with that. That's fine. Oh, you guys don't want to fight us? You're going to keep us attached to our tower line? Okay. I don't care. I'm going to sit here and clear these waves. You want to chill and scale? I love scaling. I'm a big fan of scaling. They just have to show up next to red buff, next to purple buff, next to Lost Knight. And if you look at the map, the one time that Pupsiki backed was when these buffs came up, so Deduin's Basement immediately get them. And then start building a small lead. And it's the small leads that build into the big ones in Joust. The death by 1,000 cuts, because like you mentioned before, there's so little to be had.
Ooh, double stun. Forces out the excavate, and Deduin has pinned the Xingqian against the wall. But the Whirlwind Rage of Steel is going to force them all back into him. Suns raining on down. We have the Eset ultimate to make sure we're all safe, but we're still taking a ton of damage. First Blood's going to fall on down. Adapting picks that one up, and the Crocodile set back to base.
Zap 7's ultimate there. That circle of protection. Being able to pop and get so much health in the middle of that Sobek ult, make sure that nobody comes even close to that execute range, and plays so well into the circles that Pupsiki have. It makes it so that you can play around in that Hou Yi ult and not have to stress out too much about what's happening around you. So Deduin's basement, after getting, shoved back to their tower, annoyed by the ricochet damage from Hou Yi, find a single fight, and then they're just gonna go, all right, cool, hey, don't worry, you can totally shove us back under tower for a little bit, guys. Oh no, you got us. Oh, the ricochet autos. Oh no. Anyways, when red and purple come back up, we're gonna come and take them and take your lunch money and then go back to this. It kind of shows that Deduin's basement, where, maybe they were in control the whole time. They just knew the situation, and they're just like, hey man, I'm not stressed.
Playing it safe. Xingqian steps forward, gets impaled back into the wall. But now Deduin's basement said, okay, we're tired of you ricocheting these autos, even though Ari's still gonna do it. Now it's time for Deduin's basement to step up to the tower line. Already, look at Adapting's health bar. He stood a little bit too close, and now back down to 1/3 HP.
Yeah, just have to be careful about that positioning.
Woo, you stepped up, you get pulled back on in, and we're still here. Excavate, big rock on the dome. And Hou Yi, you're not seeing no more. Desert Fury used to immune that spin to win, and now Grinder Bottom is put right back into the circle protections, into the wall. Adapting picks you up again, and now Deduin's basement on a spree, stunned back on out. Sobek, you gotta be careful, because they're still hunting.
You can put him underneath the tower, driving strike Sobek into the wall. Shell won't save you, it's a double kill for Adapting. Right as Ari comes back to defend their tower, but it's too little too late. I mean, Deduin's basement, just have all the tools.
And that tier 1 tower is going to fall on down. Ari tries to put the Suns up to save it, but I don't know if you still want to be here. Adapting is not afraid. Now, Joust jumps over the wall, and with the rest of Pupsiki here, Deduin's basement saying, you know what? I'm done. We'll let you breathe for a second. We got our tier 1 tower. We're done for now. Ari, I don't think we should be stepping up this far.
Just have to be careful. You take a look at the builds here. It is still 3 shifter shields.
Amen.
Maybe we didn't nerf it enough. And it's interesting to see Adapting pick up the Chin's Blade. That item is so polarizing. It is so hard to know what people actually feel about that item. Because you build it in a game and it does like 700 damage and you're like, gosh, this item is just terrible. Health shred is awful. But then, like, everybody's building it anyways.
It's going to be good. Amanita Charm forced on out. It's time for another fight. Pulled back on in, but he's going to spin this time. Pulls Sap 7 back into it. But we have the circle of protections, and you're just going to get exploded upon. Pupsiki, what you doing? Because this is Deduin's playfield. Now, the pillar has been put up on the sky. Sobek, you just got to pluck on out of there.
Still able to find that pick. Gonna open up the Lost Night here for Deduin's basement. And there's not a whole lot that Pupsiki can do in response. No ultimates for Deduin's basement to go for a confirm, but the shred will be good enough. Just because we have the bodies on it. The Lost Night is more like a Gold Fury than a Fire Giant, right? In terms of health pools and protections. Now, the sacrifice here, though, may be that we leave Sap 7 to die.
Sap 7's been spotted on out, and he is stuck inside the lurking in the waters. 3 members of Pupsiki chasing him down, but he's still alive in a health bar. Deduin is here this time, chasing down Ari. And Sap 7 has the Mushroom Charm back on his dome, still healing up all this damage. This aspect of the Life Warden, it's really hard to take on down because the shields, the stuns, and Deduin, all the meanwhile, is chasing Ari down. Finally, Sap 7 falls on. But now, it's time for the rest of Deduin's basement here. But look at the meantime, look at Adapting. He's taken down your Phoenix, and all of us, Deduin, is just juggling the team members and distracting them.
If there's anything that Hercules can do, it can fight 3 people off at the same time, and, as you mentioned before, run distractions. Oh!
Ari gets absolutely demolished, thrown back into the wall to try and save their own lives, but Adapting and Deduin are still running it down. They are glowing green with that Lost Night buff, and the rest of Hapsiki, they're slowly whittling on down.
Unfortunate. Such a good play on the map by Deduin's Basement. And so interesting, too. I mean, you know, you look at Adapting's build, you got Chin's Blade and Shifters. Not too much in the way of pen, but a little bit in the way of strength. Now you have Executioner, now you get some pen online. But the fact that the Lost Knight was taken makes the Phoenix stunned, so it can't attack, it can't defend itself, it can't do anything. That is why Onher is able to just go straight to it without a minion wave. Now, Deduin's Basement, with that Titan's Room cracked wide open and fights that they've already been winning, they're going to start running it down here.
Time to win. The Deduin's Basement got tired of these ranged autos. Ari is the target, and Sap 7 is locked dead on, forcing them all the way back up to the fountain, ignoring everyone else. But now we've been plucked into the Titan Room. Sun's raining on down, and Amanita Charm and the Circle of Protection's gonna keep us alive. Dopest in the zone, lurking in the waters, trying to get the Soap Execute, but it's not gonna be good enough, and you stepped up too far. Impaled, push back, double time, and now Dopest in the zone is the target. Sap 7 picks them on up. Hapsiki are a member down.
20 seconds till the Sobek comes back. We're lucky that Joust timers are a little low, but with 12k health on the Titan, it might be tough.
Spinning to win, just putting a bunch of CC, and now Ari is letting those autos rain on through, but Deduin ain't scared, still stepping forward. Driving Strike is off the mark. The Titan is slowly falling. Deduin's Basement, it's only 11 minutes into this game. It would have been a quick one, but you can't end just quite yet.
The Amanita's Charm on both sides here strikes me as interesting because we don't really get a chance to see this item too much, but hey, when you're not able to draft team healers, why not pick up the Mushroom, be able to supplement that? I can kind of dig it.
Mushroom here is going to keep Sap 7 alive for a little bit longer, but the rest of the team is on the way. He's using the minions to block, and he's still alive. Circle of Protections keeps him alive a little bit longer, but eventually, after a war of attrition, we finally find the E-set, and I'm not going to lie, Musi, that's the only person we've been able to find, right? Adapting, Deduin, they've been able to just stay alive the entire time.
Makes sense, too. I mean, Adapting has that shifter shield, so they'll have that extra layer of protection. Whereas Hercules is Hercules. Shoutouts. What are you supposed to do about that one? The Genji's coming in clutch here because they're two magicals, and Jingchen and Sobek will constantly be poking, so Deduin will always have the Genji's proc to be able to look for another mitigate wounds or another driving strike. And then, you've got Pridwin. I see the Bulwark and Engraved Guard. Hold on. Lost Knight.
Fight happening over on the left side, both Dopus in the zone and Pios running on through, but not much you can do just to force Deduin's Basement off of it. But now you've been stunned on out. Time to spin to win, but the Desert Fury is going to immune it on out, but we're still taking a bunch of damage in turn. Double jump means that Pios is going to be fine. Adapting has now turned his sights onto Dopus in the zone, who has to use that lurking in the waters just to get on out, but we time it perfectly. Deduin picks him up, pushes him back against the wall, and the sun's raining on down. I mean, Adapting is now the one in trouble. Shell forced on out, but now the pillar saves his life, and Deduin has been plugged back in, beats Force, jump in from Ari, but now you've been stunned, pushed against the wall. Deduin's health bar is low. Is it time to kill someone other than Sap 7? No, because he's running at Grinder Bottom in the back line, trying to hit the damage. Circle of Protections is going to secure it, and Deduin's Basement, all three members still alive.
Bottom down, Hapsiki to left, Ari and Dopus into zone. Desperately hoping that they don't get run at by Deduin's Basement. Sap 7 have picked up Phoenix Shield as well. So now every time this E-set is hitting you with an ability, they're also getting a bit of health back. Amanita's Charm. Amanita? Animita? Animata? You say potato, I say potato? Say it in the morning room. I bet you take mercy on me.
Yeah, jokes will happen, but look at the Lost Knight going over there, going on in. Deduin pushed them against the wall. Dopus in the zone, though. We have the Abduct Prey to get out, but Adapting is chasing you down, and that Desert Fury's off the mark, so we're alive for now. This Sobek, he's still being ran on, chased on down. He's just buying time at this point. Let's look at Sap 7. He's fighting the other two members by himself. Amanita Charm popped on down, and Ari has to use the dive bomb on out. This ESET is 2v1ing and winning. Push against the wall. Grinder Bottom is now facing the entire threat of Deduin's basement. Dodging autos best he can, but eventually you're going to get stunned on out. 2 jumps means you're safe for now, but still, Deduin's basement, this team fight is just terrifying.
Oyi, you enough to defend? Driving strike, plucked, jump away. Lost Knights up for Deduin's basement to take if they wanted. And I can see that the hunters have finished up their Silver Branch bows. Long and the short of this item, right? Every third auto launches a little projectile that does, I believe it's like 25% of the damage of one of your autos. So if you have a bunch of attack speed, it is just good to have.
Afting may have been caught on out for beads forced as well at Desert Fury. But now, Sap 7 is here, and this guy is unkillable. 2 members into the wall, and Excavate's gonna push 3. It bounced around, and Ari is in trouble, taking a ton of damage. Silence and out. Killing spree for Hercules. And now Grinder Bottom's been pushed into the corners. Has to jump over the valley. That was a good one to watch. But hey, Pupsiki, Ari is still down, and the rest of Deduin's basement, 3 members strong, spot a Jing Chen, and they want to take him down.
For the pin into the wall, pluck, bam, spirit ball, it's off the mark, but the autos are gonna connect. Grinder Bottom just barely holding on.
But eventually gonna fall on down to Adapting's rampage. He leaps on in, and he is going for the Titan. Who cares about the Sobek? We want to get out of this game. 16 minutes in, 11 kills to 2, and Pupsiki are dwindling at the Titan room. Circle protections is falling on down. Titan down to 2k, pulled back in just to explode. Deduin's basement win the first game.
Whew. All right. And that is what I'm talking about, right? Like, these games are either bam, or it's bam. Delayed gratification. The second marshmallow, Dealer would say. But I do feel like we've been put on a little bit of game here. 2 of the mushrooms being picked up because we can find the Guan Yu. I'm noticing. I'm seeing it with my eyes, right? Because healing is so strong in Joust, being able to pick up a little bit of healing in the form of an active item has to be pretty solid, especially for a character like an ESET, where you're just like, yeah, I'm going to be living forever anyways. This is only helpful to me.
Looking around it here, we thought Shift or Shield. We talked about it. Like, we got nerfed a little bit. Deduin's basement said, wait, what? Huh? You sure about that? They build 3 of them still, and well, of course, you know, Pupsiki still had 2, but that didn't even matter. Just because you mentioned it, Deduin's basement, they just like kept running it down, and Ari with that agility relic was not able to get out as much, despite pumping out a lot of damage.
Yeah, it did eventually come back to bite them, right? Where initially they were like, oh, I can keep people spaced. I have the Hou-Yi, Ricochet autos. But at some point, you gotta pay the Pied Piper. And that is Hercules plus ESET. I mean, because Hou-Yi didn't have beads, ESET was able to just run at them, silence, stun, and this forces Hou-Yi to simply dive bomb away and try to make space. But the ESET has the ability to catch back up. So it was always kind of a tricky situation for the Hou-Yi.
ESET, this Hercules, they are a tag team combo that's going to be hard to destroy. When you have Adapting, rating, autos on down, looking like the king of not only Smite, but the jungle, quite terrifying comp to come up against. But that's all for that first game. We'll be right back with our second one right after the short break. Hello all, and welcome back to Smite Prime. My name's still Moonmellows. I'm still joined here by Musy, and we have the entire Prime team behind us. It's gonna be Jithens, Tezdai, keeping the lights going. How are you doing, Musy?
I'm doing pretty good, Moon. I'm doing pretty good. I think we're off to a good. All
right. Yeah,
I think we're off to a good start so far today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, we're off to a great start. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking the wrong way. Got it. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Bad.
I get a bone.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's okay.
Wait.
I can't. My eyes got broken.
Yeah. I get. But the bracket's ready. Let's look at that.
Oh,
that's
the
exciting.
Bracket.
Yeah, the bracket, baby. Team Doodoo. Hey, they got in. Dodoon's basement. Doo now fighting Dodoon's basement, but that's not who we're watching. Look down there at the bottom. You see him? Theater Thugs. T-I-J-E-I. Wait.
That beat out Hydrogen Bomb. Where? How about that?
Spicy. That's good. What is the T-I-J-E-I team? Wait, I need to check that.
That's the ACD team.
Oh, ACD. Okay, that's actually kind of heater. The Americans not going to be able to colonize this time. They run through, got out down early. So I want to see them do well here. And also, Theater Thugs going to be a good one to look into. Hustle Wingu, ACD, Felly, Snatty, Timer 1K. Oh, this is going to be a good. This is going to be a good game.
I wonder if any of these guys were in theater. If that's why they're the Theater Thugs. I would pay $12 to see Snatty perform in Cats.
That is a crazy one. Skimble Shakes for sure. Snatty Skimble Shakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
I am a musical theater nerd. For those who don't know, Musy also is somewhat of one.
I dabble.
So that's the only Cats name I know, and that's all I gotta say.
It was one more than me.
Yes.
I was
put on our ground, baby.
Anything that you said.
You put me up there, but hey, Theater Thugs. Oh,
Whiskers. Yeah, 100% Whiskers. Kind of, yeah. Obviously,
Rey Mysterio.
Bit Whiskers.
Yeah.
He's coming in from the top ropes. Meow! And that's how Cats goes. So now you don't have to watch
it. But hey, I want to see the Theater Thugs run it down. That's a pretty exciting team, right? Snatty, a monster in the solo lane. And we see a lot of tanks and hunters kind of being good, but let's stop speculating about what they're going to pick and ban. Let's get straight into it.
One of the things to notice here is Raspy is a player that has been showing up a bit in, Smite Prime Conquest matches. They were in last season of the Olympus Smite League. They started in Joust, right? That is where they started. So this is like their OG stomping ground. So Theater Thugs are going to have probably Raspy put on something like a Ho Yi, I would assume, or some other kind of hunter. That's kind of what they tend to gravitate towards. Snatty and Timer 1K either going to be playing like a tank and another tank, or a tank and maybe a mid tank. It feels like as long as you can get something along the lines of, and we're gonna be listing this off all day, all night. Guan Yu, Hercules, I would put ESET up there now as something that's really good to have on the team. I think Jin Chen is okay. Achilles, Kabrakan are going to be really strong picks. Aphrodite, obviously. So that's what I'm really looking at here. Looks like the ESET filtered through here. That's going to be Achilles' first pick. Moon, for you and those at home that maybe aren't familiar with how the bans work for ranked Joust, all the bans happen simultaneously. That's why you just see them, pop them on the bottom, and then boom, we're straight into first pick. So the other teams don't actually know what's being banned. They only know that they can ban for themselves. So if you're first pick, you're banning, things that are picking in spots 2 and 3. And if you're second pick, you're trying to think about those, pick one bans. That's why Guan Yu's immediately off the table.
And I'm happy to see. I don't want to see that guy a single game. We've how many jousts have we gone through just to learn that aspect of the general is just not made for joust and it's too strong. But a good pickup here for TIJEI, Apois, and Jing Chen.
So I do like both of these characters here. Jing Chen forces beads, especially on characters that don't have CC immune ultimates, and Apois, that Empty the Crypts covers the entire lane. It damn near covers the whole map, right? With how big it is. So you also have a lot of anti-heal built into this Apois as well, which will be relevant when it goes into something like the Achilles and the Sobek.
And Achilles is a character known to just be a damage sponge, but namely for physical damage, Apois, Jing Chen, and now an X-Ball. That's exciting, because that tells me, at least unless this Apois is going full defense, you have two squishy people on a team.
So the Apois could go like a tankier mage build, right? Shifter, Z-Staff, Reaver, Bluestone, if that's still something people are playing with at this point. I would assume not, since the nerfs. But I guess when your damage comes from Soul Reaver and Bluestone and not necessarily from your in-scaling shifters, that build still looks pretty solid. The Jibalanque. I wasn't ready for everybody to be put on game here, but it seems that, you know, TIGAI? I'm thinking TGI Fridays. That's where my head's at.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just because I'm kind of hungry, and I want some potato skins. But does that place even exist? Is TGI Fridays? Did they survive the? Anyways,
Are you Unk? Are you Unk?
am I Unk? Yes, we were talking about cats. Of course, we're Unk. What do you mean?
Where?
Yeah. You and me.
No. It's all you.
You're Unk.
Oh.
But the Jibalanque moon. Now, the Jibalanque is really, really interesting to me. This is a character that I think uses items like Silver Branch Bow and Toxic Blade incredibly effectively, knowing that the Branching Bola can proc these effects. Jibalanque is kind of like if Houyi Aspect had a timer, right? In order to use your Branching Bolas, you have to be using mana, so you're likely headed towards a Death's Toll start. But then you're like, okay, well, what if I do, like, Death's Toll, Sunbeam Bow, Audi Bow, Silver Branch, Toxic Blade, those kinds of items, and just hold left click really, really hard for as long as I can, right? You could go, a Leather Cowl as well, I think is a very popular pickup for a lot of characters. I wouldn't hate to see a Gilded Arrow, because a lot of what you're building is that basic attack damage, not necessarily strength. So I'll be really interested to see what the Jibalanque builds, because I have some ideas of how you can really bring this character to life, and I'm curious to see if other people have picked up on that. Versus, you know, Houyi, which has been kind of the standard ADC for a few patches now. Houyi has just been good. He's got everything you want. Big ultimate, ricochets, tons of damage, safety with the dive bomb. But I have been watching some games, and this Houyi character does not do what, you know, characters like Jibalanque, Artemis, Neath Aspect do, and that is hold left click faster than anybody else can.
Really excited to see if this Houyi is able to, like, step up to the plate, right? Last game we saw Ari pilot it. It was the cool, funny aspect, which is kind of all about holding left click and hoping you hit a funny bounce, but it got ran at. But now TIJEI kind of have a comp that also looks like, to me, will get ran at, especially Apois against Achilles and Sobek. You get plucked. I mean, how are you surviving?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Apois is going to need a beads. Maybe even they could do like the Talisman build, where it's like Bluestone, Talisman of Purification in place of Chronos Pendant into the Soul Reaver, into the E-Staff, and then Shifter Shield. Then maybe a Dwarven Plate, so that what you're doing is just constantly proccing your Soul Reaver Bluestone with your low cooldowns. You pick up a corpse, you throw out another one, that kind of deal. As you're doing that, you're able to stay alive and kind of make space for yourself so that Achilles and Sobek can't run at you as effectively, and Xbalanque should be hanging out somewhere in the general vicinity to kind of give suppressing fire, is what I'm thinking. And then Xingqian is here to either start a fight or keep people on or off you with the roots, the dash, and that whirlwind of rage and steel. You talk about what Theater Thugs are able to do, I think you already hit the nail on the head, right? What are you going to do when a Sobek plucks you? If that Sobek pluck is able to connect on any of the squishies, if it's not getting beads, they're probably dead. Probably dead, right? Into an Achilles shield bash and a Hou-Yi damage that's going to happen there. It's hard to imagine that anybody really gets to survive that, especially if you're a squishier character. But maybe for the Xingqian, he'll have a little bit more time to play with because he's just going to be a little bit tankier.
Tanky team versus the TIJEI. Let's see if the Theater Thugs have an opening number ready to blast us off, blast our socks off. We'll see as we make our way into game number 1. The Theater Thugs versus TIJEI. My name's still Moonmellows. I'm still joined here by Musi and our eyes in the sky, keeping the prod lights running. That's Jithens and Tez Die. And looking around, everything kind of looks pretty standard, at least builds-wise.
So, I do see the Death's Toll into the bow there for Xbalanque, so that's exciting. I'm really curious to see what happens there. And I like to see that Raspy did not go the aspect on the Hou-Yi, because ricochet stuns feel so important when you need to lock down characters like an Upwash and like a Xbalanque, right? Because they are a little bit more susceptible to those range stuns, to the ability to get jumped on. So I like that here.
Right over the red buff. It's going to fall on down, be taken in, but look at Wangu just getting in there, getting a little bit aggressive. Feli was able to steal away that red buff, so again, just that extra bit of damage is just going to be very important in these little poke battles.
Oh, Xingqian's in, timer, health bar low, but no follow-up yet. It's going to be the level 5 difference. That is going to be the scary thing. Theater Thugs have 2 shells, 1 beads, and the beads is going to be attached to Hou-Yi. Makes sense. He doesn't have the CC immune ultimate that Snatty or Timer 1K would have. Meanwhile, on the opposite end, it's 2 beads and 1 shell. The beads being held by the squishies, the shell being held by the Xing. So, being able to pop double shells for Theater Thugs is going to exacerbate just how tanky Timer 1K and Snatty are going to be. Whereas, Wengu, hold on. Ooh.
A little off the mark with that. Well, Whirlwind Rage Steel just means you're going to get plucked back on in, but we've emptied the crypts already. ACD picks up first blood, and now Timer 1K has to sit in base for a couple seconds.
I mean, that charge prey is what you use to get your opponents out of position, but it also is your escape tool to get away from something like an empty the crypts there. So it's a good ultimate from Fel, immediately hitting level 5 and then just letting it rip. I like the ult from ICD there as well, because if you're trying to walk out of the Xbalanque ult, you get slowed like a crazy amount the moment you step outside of that circle. But you have to step outside of the circle because in the background, you're sitting inside and empty the crypt, so there's actually just nowhere to really go. That's a neat ult combination there of just, hey, you're eating all this damn. Good luck, bro. That is just what's happening to you. So Theater Thugs need a little bit more magical protection so that they can survive something like that. That's why the Genji's Guard is coming online soon, or the Sobek, and it would seem that Snatty's going to have a shifter shield around the corner.
Like team just has so much damage to get in there, but hey, when there's damage, there's a pluck on in. Wangu forced back to Raspy, takes half of their health bar for it. The IJEI are not going to let that hurt them, but a good double bounce forces ACD back off.
That is the scary part of Hou-Yi. Occasionally you can just get ricocheted and lose half your health bar. Xbalanque does have the Death's Toll though, so he can sustain a little bit in health chalices. For everybody here, it means that you've got an extra 750 health to get back over time. Now, one of the things that I like to point out here too, when tanks are so prevalent, I do like Achilles. Achilles is one of those characters that can also be very, very tanky because of his passive. He gets passive prots and health. He can pop his 2, so he gets a health shield that'll be good for tanking damage from the Xbalanque. But also, the execute is what really pushes him over the edge in my mind. Being able to look at a tank and be like, hey, listen, you are not as tanky as you believe you are. I can just get you. You'll notice there's no Aegises here. So Snatty can find and execute. And there shouldn't really be too much that could be done about it. Maybe Xbalanque or Jingchen can dash away, but that's about it there. Oh. That's alright, actually, next time.
Step forward. Maybe you get a red buff, but we dropped a whole Crypts to do it. Now Timer 1K pushed down a little bit low. Whirlwind of Rage of Steel gonna force out the beads, and now Raspy has to dive bomb away. The Theater Thugs kind of on the back foot so far this game. Just have to wait to get those items online because honestly, TI, they just have so much damage.
Yeah, they're leveraging it pretty hard here. I would like to see a Lost Knight pull sooner rather than later. Once Wangu gets their ultimate back up, while the beads for Raspy is on cooldown, that's going to be a big difference maker in the next engagement. Wangu doesn't have any cooldown build though, so maybe give him that blue buff.
Ellie been caught on out, has to use the beach just to try and immune the slow from lurking in the waters, eating the body so we don't get executed, takes a ton of damage, and is going to find it. Timer 1K, make sure that God of Duck is off the map. Felly sent back home and packing. Now the score even out 1-1.
Unfortunate, the Plosh gets found in that little corridor round where you can get back into lane, and Sobek has a crazy amount of chase down to keep on this Plosh. And Jingchen just didn't really have it in him to keep the peel on. Timer 1K also was able to escape that Phoenix. Body blocks are just a little bit off. So, the old one-to-one action. But I don't think that should change the plan from TGI too much, right? Because you still know that Raspy's beads are down for another minute. Your Jingchen ultimate is available. It's time to get in there. Time to find somewhere to throw a fighter on. I mean, Fel's got their ultimate too, so this should be like a good time to engage. Just have to find a way to force Theater Thugs to take the engagement and treat it seriously. Lost Knight could be a solid pull here. Otherwise, we could just kind of chill. Look at Snatty on the wrap.
Wrapped around, but spotted on out. Sent to the sky, but the beads was a too little too late. ACD now stuck inside the crypts. But look at Wangu doing what he can to try and keep them off of him. Timer 1K forced into the waters, lurking away. Low health bars, but the fight is still ongoing because Snatty has a full health bar, and he's just wanting to put some damage on into it. Raspy and Timer 1K, on the other hand, a little bit low, so they gotta back off.
Dominance is the pickup here for Xbalanque. Now, I don't see many people building this item, but what it does is, for hunters, it's very useful. It makes it so that your autos get an additional 20% penetration. Yeah, there it is. And this effect ignores the penetration cap. So you can still go something like some more percent pen. Rip Talon, Titan's Bane, that sort of thing. And just have a crazy amount of extra penetration. So, when you go Dominance, you do not go Executioner. That is the knowledge check here.
Lots of damage going to be taken. And look at Snatty's health bar, already feeling it. He steps forward trying to get something started. Makes half his health bar for it, but look at the thugs making lemonade out of lemons. They pick up this red buff, so at least a little something for their trouble.
I want to explain a little bit more. Muzi, you said no XC when you go Dominance. Yes, Executioner shreds percent defenses. So when you shred percent defenses, you don't need more percent pen, you just need more damage, right? So it gets a little redundant here. So I would love to see like an Audi bow, and then a Reptile, and then a Silver Bridge bow, and then that would be very fuego, I think, for this Xbalanque. Especially when you got this Dagger Frenzy, like, we are all in on attack damage. We don't care about strength, per se. That is I do think that is one of the neat things about some of these new ADC items that makes it a little bit more, like, anyone can cook. Anybody can build these items, because it gives you not strength, but attack damage. So, like, when Freya hits this game, it's going to be awesome, because she gets to have Silver Branch Dominance, and it's going to be, like, very, very good. You're like, ow. That's maybe next year. I cry.
We'll get there eventually.
We already have her, but it's like, please.
and Service, a pretty iconic duo lane, as you know. We'd like to see them here
Shout out,
this
Anthony.
time, but not going to. Theater Thugs, they try. They got a little aggressive here, right? They picked up a couple of buffs around the map. It started the Lost Night, but just again too much damage from this TI team. And now, I mean, looking at it, Felly going for a little bit of defense, right? That wish granting girl, possibly, but still not really that tanky, right? It's still gonna fall down pretty easily. Oh,
yeah. E-Staff there for Fell is the direction I think they're taking, and Raspy is committing a cardinal sin right in front of me. That is a Hunter's Bow and a Survivor Sash. You already have dominance. We don't need the Executioner.
Well, Timer 1K may have found his Executioner, has the pluck on out, forced to use that Lurking in the Waters, and the beads also down for Raspy. 3 ultimates down. Force out a Relic and an ultimate from the Theater Thugs, and now a little bit weaker, have to step on a back, but TI, they got what they wanted.
Being able to find the Houyi beads again. But we haven't been able to capitalize when we take Raspy's beads. So, while I do think it's a good indicator that we're able to get those, it just becomes, can we actually follow up on that? Alright, they both went Executioner. Now I just feel silly, don't I? I don't know, man, I'm just saying, I don't think, this was like a Smite 1 conversation that we used to have all the time. Reduces protections. Yeah, you don't need to get extra. Anyways.
Reduce protections even on down. That just means Wengu gonna take a lot of damage. Well, not really at all. He steps forward and takes half his health bar. And oh no, it's time for yet another fight. Beads forced on out. The sun's raining on down. But both of these teams, they have pretty good anti-peel tools. So someone tries to get something started and they just get out.
Yeah, and it is very hard to run at an Xing Chen combination here, because they have so much area damage and CC to keep you locked inside that area damage. The roots are especially annoying from a Xing Chen. Is this a Lost Night pull? The ultimates, I mean, we don't have Houyi ult, but we do have our tank ults.
Chen is here, going to be able to spin to win. No beads to use this time, just to force Raspy off of that Lost Night, but Chen, you stepped a little far forward. You're going to be in trouble, buddy. Plucked back into the loving autos of Raspy, but we've got 2 jumps. And again, Wengu is out of there A-OK. This game's going a much stark contrast from our first game.
There's the E-Staff pickup from Fell. I see the shield and the runes, so we know Shifters is on the way. After that, I would imagine you're going... You could upgrade your your Purification to Talisman if you wanted to, if you're that worried about it. And then pick up, Aegis for your Opwash here. Because I feel like once you have your E-Staff plus your Soul Reaver plus your Bluestone, that is, that's your damage. You just get to go with a couple utility items after the fact. Whereas, you look at Raspy and ECD's build, double Hunter's Bow, so I imagine Audi Bow is going to be next for Raspy. I would like to see the Audi Bow for the Javelonke as well. And I really wonder if we get to see a Silver Branch or a Toxic Blade. I genuinely believe Toxic Blade is one of the good items that I want to see more people build, especially because healing's so good. And we, Hunters are pretty good right now too. So Toxic Blade is one of those items that I feel gets so much value, especially into characters like a Sobek, an Achilles, or an Opwash, or a Xing Chen. Being able to deny some of that healing is very, very strong. I see the Erosion pickup here from Wengu too, so that's a good answer to the shells. Erosion being one of the few items in this game at this point that give you % protection increase.
Talking to Wengu, but once again, he's got 2 jumps, he's fine. So, I mean, it's good. I like to see the Erosion pick up here, but also, talking about anti-heal, they also have Felly, right, who's just able to be no healing allowed. And also, the Thugs, they just have a lot of, possible small little heals, right? Sobek with that Sickening Strike. Snatty, anytime he's glowing in Radiant Glory, so interesting to see it here, and it's working out for him, just a pretty slow game.
I like Snatty's build here, too. When was the last time you saw Hussar's wings? which is very good counter build item, because a lot of what this Opwa Shibalanke combo wants to do is slow you down so that you're stuck inside their ultimates, so that you can't get away from the Opwash damage. With this Hussar's Wing, Snatty just walks out, right? You are immune to slows. Shout outs, right? Now, this item is very, very expensive. It's something ridiculous, like 3,000 plus gold for it. At one point, it was at 3,700 gold. I think it's a little bit less than that now. But the stats on it are not bad either. I mean, 35 Omniprots and then 500 health. That's a lot, right? So, it's a big investment for Snatty. It sets his build back. Like, he's going to be sitting on that bulwark and defense for a schminute before we're actually able to turn it into anything because of how expensive Hussar's Wings is. But it does completely negate a lot of the soft CC that an Obplash has, or even that a Xing Chen has, right? Because Xing Chen, like, he knocks you up, he slows, he goes into the root, so maybe you can, like, walk away from the root. So, I like it.
Heat. Snatty. Not gonna be slowed down trying to keep the thugs on honestly, just a slow but steady push forward. As again, no tier 1 towers down, and both teams, there's only barely 200 gold between them. And we talk about Joust, how that spooling is just slower, but eventually we get items online and we look for the fight. Darkest of Nights put on out and forced into the waters is Timer 1k, but we're looking for the damage on the back end side of it. The crypt's emptied, and look at those health bars. They are tanks, baby. Spin to win puts Timer back with the rest of his carries, forced to Aegis on out. And now, Wengu using that Nemean. Can we finally get a kill? Can someone finally fall on down? Please, I'm begging. Snatty able to slip away with those combat dodges and stay alive. Everyone just a little bit too...
Nothing happening. Well, not nothing happening, right? Well,
Something happening.
TGI? Gosh, that one's just gonna get me for a bit. They don't kill anybody, but they are able to force it back, which means that Lost Knight is suddenly in play, but Theater Thugs are actually able to finish their back. Oh?
Ooh. SB hasn't gone back to base just yet, forced down on low, and the rest of the fight's happening in the pit, and Snatty is the true target, but look at the ICD has to run away. Snatty just does way too much damage, takes way too little, and he's just combat dodging all the way back home. Felly might as well go back to base too. The rest of TI, they're back. They have to go away.
Draconic Scales picked up by Snatty. That makes sense, because what were we building during that Proxlop meta, where Soul Reaver Bluestone is, you know, what you're getting constantly hit by? You pick up those Draconic Scales, and Draconic Scales basically says, like, you get hit by a form of damage, physical or magical, you get a little bit more prots, and Bluestone Soul Reaver immediately stacks it all the way up.
ACD plugs back on in, now stuck in the lurking in the waters. The crypt falls on out, and he uses that Rising Jaguar just to get away. He's able to teleport to the other side of the map, so he's fine for now. Just Wengu trying to run at Raspy, uses that breath, but he gets stuck in the corridor, takes a double bounce, and his health bar is looking low. Can we finally find the execute? No, just a little bit out of range. Pluck is good, and you're back into the ADC, trying to spin to win, forces out the beads, and the shell, and the Nemean. Wengu doing his best to try and survive. Can we finally get a kill? No, because he has 2 jumps, and he's going to be able to teleport back away. This Xing Chen is really hard to take out.
I mean, whenever Snatty's next to Wengu and he pops his 2, Wengu's going to get a bit more prots, 10% increased prots. This can happen up to 2 times, so he gets up to 20% prots just by hanging around. But he's got that Spear Robe, he's got the Hide of the Nemean, and all of the HP 5 that is from that Shifters. So, and the HP 5, you know, from being a Xing Chen. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, now we're starting
Dude,
to damage. Look at Timer's health.
now we're doing it. Well, look at the build for Xbalanque. We got that Silver Branch bow online, and now all we have is attack speed, pretty much. Like, every single one of our items is attack speed, so we are built to just fire off this Silver Branch bow. Plus, it's extra penetration. Remember, because of dominance, we can overcap on percent pen for basic attack autos.
That's a lot of damage, too. Look at it, 24k and a counting. Timer 1, though. Again, these tanks, they're tanky. I've been saying it for about 18 minutes at this point. We're watching an incredibly slow game, and that's just kind of like the love of Joust, right? Sometimes you get rollover stomps, Sometimes you just gotta marinate, just gotta cook, wait to those like 6 slotted in item, and we're getting there, right? Raspy has that Manchu bow, so we're almost at the point where these hunters are going to be able to demolish anyone standing in front of them.
Level 20 is available for everybody, which means starter items are around the corner. Timer being able to pick up a selflessness. That'll be good. Because there is a cheeky amount of CC from our chaos side here. I see the evil eye and the shard, so Fel should have ob shard around the corner. That's going to be the penetration that we need from our mage damage. I mean, Timer 1k gets pieced up by ICD, but it's got to be Fel that has to be the one to kill Snatty, because Snatty's able to pop that health shield, and ICD just has to auto so many more times in order to kill this Achilles because of that massive physical health shield in particular. And that is the tricky part there for the matchup. And then, of course, nobody has any kind of Aegis still, so Snatty's able to threaten that execute range. That's why he's holding this corner. He's going in.
Waiting to find the particular engagement in there. Darkest of Nights comes on out. Wengu takes half of their health bar in turn. Snatty's going to step on forward for some abilities on out, and still, we're just waiting to get our items online. Getting the safe farm, getting what we can. We drop the red, we drop all the buffs on the map, so we have a slight advantage, but still, man, they're just... everyone's tanking.
Death's Embrace online for ICD. So now we're able to stay in bolas constantly. It's a Lost Night pull from Theater Thugs. They have a lot of damage here.
A lot indeed, but Wengu up from behind is going to force them on off of it, so Theater Thugs still don't feel comfortable taking this one, and Snatty doesn't feel comfortable taking over half his health bar either, forced to lurk in the waters is Timer trying to chase out Wengu, but he takes more damage than he can deal. As soon as it pops up, forced back to the rest of the team. Still has Aegis to stay alive. But finally, someone falls on down. Sobek, we're Crocodile Hunters now. And ACD feels comfortable to keep on running it down. Has the beads. Be able to sneak on out. But Snatty is here, and he has an ultimate. And we get it off in a time. Wengu looking a little low, but the damage. Now, this X-Ball's online, baby, because Snatty don't feel comfortable stepping.
I am telling you, this Xbalanque character is doing things that the other hunters are not doing, and that is holding left click better than a lot of other people. Sunbeam Bow in the... Sunbeam Bow!
Don't bring back that bit. Don't bring it back. That was a last Joust bit. That was a last Joust.
I couldn't even hold it. But Sunbeam Bow, as the last item here, you're about to see some... some ridiculous not... Look at the Lost Night health!
Oh my god, it's already down to 1k HP! ACD able to secure it, but can you get out with your life? Snatty, in fact, turned back around him, and he went bye-bye, baby! Felly picks him up, and now the Theater Thugs are one member lower. Listen, X-Ball, he holds left click better than anybody.
Oh my god, yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, this build... I don't know how I feel about the XE. I think it's redundant. That's just me. I feel like we don't necessarily need it, but you can't argue with results. You can't argue with results!
He's chopping him on down. He's cutting grass, and people at this point will win a Rage's deal a little off the mark, so Raspy is able to survive yet another day, but the Phoenix can't stay too much more, and we're already looking at the Titan. Well, the tanks are. ICD is demolishing Raspy. What was that? Deicide for the Theater Thugs. They're all off the map, and the Titan gone too.
I knew in like the back of my head that Xbalanque was going to be really solid this patch. I knew what it was capable of. And yet I'm still surprised by the ridiculousness of a late game Xbalanque with that build. I mean, it is... That was goofy. That wasn't even Mickey. That was just goofy. Like, I don't know what to say to that one. And the Hou Yi goes a similar build here. But I'm telling you, these other hunters are not doing what the Artemis, the Neath, and the Xbalanque are doing. Like, if you have an attack speed stim, if you have something that makes it so that you're able to fire off autos at a ridiculous pace, or you have some kind of OP auto stim like a branching bolas, you are a very, very, very strong hunter in this game. I would really expect and hope to see more Xbalanques today, but also like Neith, Aspect, or Artemis too. These characters that just get to press a button and say, hey, listen, I win the 1v1, and maybe I win the 1v3.
Still see Shift Shield, but hey, baby, Hunters are back, and they are going to tear you on down. ACD, their team, able to push on through this time. That's not all we got for you today. We still have some more Summer Bash EU Joust action coming at you right after this short. Hello, one and all, and welcome back to the Summer Bash EU Joust. You're here in the semifinals. My name is Moon Mellows, joined here by Musey. Look the right way this time. He's still here. I know where you are now. I know where you are. We got Jithens and Tesdai along with us, and you guys ready for the bracket? Because we're going to be looking at it.
Bomba! Bracket time. So we have Bazinga, Dodoon's Basement, Laboogs, and TIGEI. I need anybody to help me out with that.
TJ.
I don't know. TJ. Yes. There it is. Thank you, Moon. I knew we'd get there eventually. So,
Got you.
Moon, this is going to seem familiar to you, this next part. Because now we're moving into best of threes. This brings us to very charted territory. That's right. The Vault Bands, Moon. Now, for those of you that aren't Moon or aren't Musey and are new to this, how this works is that in a best of three set, once a god is played, that god is locked away in the vault. They cannot be picked for the rest of the set. So, for example, right, Xbalanque. Musey thinks it's super strong. Other teams agree. We lock it game one. We can't pick it for the rest of the set. No more Xbalanque until a new set, right? So this does have some pretty significant impacts on picks and bans. And it does mean that maybe you're banning something to play in game two. Maybe you want to pick something away from the first team. Maybe you're playing for game three by letting all the broken stuff through game one. And then maybe having a fooly-cooly around in game two and game three. So keep that in mind as we're moving forward, especially through these picks and bans when we get there. Because you're not seeing these gods for the rest of the set.
It's always exciting when we have vault bans up on the table because, again, players just have to go a little bit deeper in their god pool. Especially in Joust, I think it's important to note that we're not getting 10 gods banned every game.
Yeah.
6. So, still have to go a little bit deeper, but, you know, players could probably still feel a little bit comfortable. You mentioned it. X-Ball's off the table, then what's next? Artemis, Neith. Still a lot of option for these players to see, and we'll be able to get to see all of them in this best of three semifinals.
I am pretty pumped to see what we end up leaning towards. Just going over in my head what's ban-worthy, right? What am I expecting to not see? I really feel like we're not going to see any Aphrodite, Guan Yu, Achilles. Like, it came through once, and I feel like maybe we don't let that happen again, unless maybe the answer is these ADCs that hold down left click super hard. And then you have, what did I say? Guan Yu, Achilles, Aphrodite. There's another healer I'm thinking of. Oh, Hercules and E-Set. I feel like those characters are very, very strong. We saw them once in Dodoon's Basement. No more, right? That's one time too many. Who else? Kabrakan, I feel, is going to be pretty good in this game mode. It's just generically good, even through all the nerfs. He's still very, very strong. You could just kind of throw him into anything. Really good for chaining CCs together, especially. Beyond that,
I think.
Yeah. And Sobek, I think, is one of those characters that you can allow through, because I don't know if you want to ban it. But maybe that's going to be something that you prio pick within either, maybe a first pick if it's like game 2, if it didn't get picked game 1. But absolutely on like your 2 and 3, something you can very easily lock in there.
And what they're locking in, well, it's the players. It's Dodoon's Basements versus Bazinga here in our semifinals. Okay, it's the people who won last week. The NA Joust Finals. They won the 525 big ones. So now they're here, semifinals, up to do it again. And what better time to start it as we make our way into picks and bans right now. And these players, we're going to get to see it. We're going to get to see these OP hunters. And Hu Yi I thought was good in Joust. Seems to maybe be a bait pick.
You know, I maybe I am in the Hu Yi fall off arc of, do I think Hu Yi is good? Yeah. Are we first picking him still? I don't know. You know, and maybe it's just because the new toys look so shiny that, you know, I'm letting Woody drop to the floor. I don't want to play with you anymore. But I'm telling you that I don't think Hu Yi is doing what some of these other picks are doing. So some of these other picks are just doing some ridiculous Twitter clip nonsense. So it'll be interesting to see here. So we have Black Knife and Des on the same team. Spoilers, guys. And then Zaki. Again, another round of players that I don't think I've seen before in my life, but that makes me all the more excited to see them take Deduin's basement attacks to task. I want to see them push their backs against the wall. So Herc, Afro, go on you cab band away. The Onher's a little bit of a red herring here. So that is going to let the E set through for Deduin's basement.
Yeah, Xingchen picked up first overall, so a lot of priority going to this god, and it makes a ton of sense. He provides so much peel and decently good CC, and also, we saw it last game, very survivable, has 2 jumps, a ton of HP 5, but if you pick up the Xingchen, Sap 7, just going to be able to pick up this E set, and there's a chill in the room, Musi. Did you feel it? Did it go up your spine? Adapting is probably going to be piloting this X-Ball.
I feel so vindicated right now. I feel so vindicated right now. I'm telling you, this guy. I'm telling you, this Shivalake character is one of the good ones. He's one of the good ones for sure. I don't know. He's just holding left click harder than anybody I've seen before in a minute, which I love to see from ADCs. What Musi considers to be fun ADCs are not necessarily the ADCs that like have big auto attack numbers. It's the ones that attack really fast. Like, I think the super attack speed ADCs are the fun ones. So I am a big fan of the Xbalanque here and what it's going to bring. Although, the Zynga do have a very classically good comp, right? I mean, these are picks you would expect to see in a Conquest game as well. Xingchen, Horus, Hu Yi. You got tons of CC. You got a healthy amount of survivability, but Deduin's basement has a lot of sauce here.
Saucy indeed. Let's see if they can cook something up that's nice and tasty as we make our way into the semifinals. Bazinga versus Deduin's basement up to bat. My name is Moonmellows. I'm here with Musi, Jithin's Tesdai, making sure all these lights are running all nice and shiny. And once again, it's Black Knife going for this aspect Hu Yi. Deduin's basement, they're already used to this one.
They know how to play into it. Right? I mean, Black Knife will be able to throw out these autos or ricochet, clear waves, have pressure, but how well can they deal with getting ran at? They do have the beads this go around, so that will help. Getting flopped on, getting stunned and silenced and stunned again. So, a little bit of peel will be necessary there too. I like the pickup from Deduin though. Look at that war flag.
Flag gonna make you go faster, and look at so much CC from Bazinga. They just forced Deduin's basement off of the red buff, but Sap 7 doesn't even care. He's like, go ahead, have the red buff. I'm going to steal your blue and take this purple up too.
That's going to be the Boomba's Hammer that lets the E-Set get away with that kind of clear. Deduin's getting a lot of damage in here. Sap 7 doesn't go for the wrap, so it's just going to go back to even Stevens.
We're here, stunning people on out, and the burp is good, but not good enough. Shut up by Dest. Bazinga getting aggressive, but Deduin's basement already showing that they know this map quite well. They have a game plan, and that's to just get as much farm as possible as soon as possible.
Yeah, but Deduin's basement feels like they're going to be playing for that later game. We want to get this war flag upgraded. We need to get Xbalanque to full build, and Sap 7 is kind of the vehicle that helps us get there. Because this E-set aspect with this Boomba's Hammer going into shifters does have a fair amount of damage like right out the gates and a lot of utility to keep people out and away from you. It's very difficult to run at Deduin's basement because E-set's got the silence and the stun, as well as a lot of survivability attached to her ultimate, where she can pop it and give everybody a quick burst of health. It is worth noting, Sap 7 and Deduin do not have CC immune ultimates, and they don't have beads, so they're doubled up on the shell there. So I'm kind of expecting an erosion somewhere from Bazinga at some point. It's a good pickup into E-Set, it's a better pickup into double shell, but we need some cooldown attached to Jing Chen so that we can abuse our Whirlwind of Rage and Steel, and really just try to scoop up these tanks and throw them towards that tower line. The question is, are we going to be able to kill them off of an ultimate from Jing Chen?
Deduin starts the burp and just gets shut up once again, but now Dest steps up too far, has a protective surge to get back to town, and strap in Musi. It feels like we're going to be seeing that one a lot. Again, both these two teams have a lot of safety. The stun, though, not used this time, and this gets the burp on off, sent into the sky just to get out. Circle protections, it's not enough to get the kill, but it's time to spin, but we're not winning anything because nobody gets picked up.
Aw, dang it, just cannot find anything there.
Yeah.
I mean, part the waters pretty well, made a lot of space, but not being able to find something off your first ultimate means that adapting's going to be very safe still, because he still gets to keep his beads. This is going to give tempo to Deduin's basement, knowing that they forced every relic from Bazinga while they get to maintain all of theirs. The opposite side is that Black Knife will still have their ultimate to contest something, but there's nothing really to contest. Maybe a pick.
Deduin gets caught on out. He's knocked up. Shell forced, but still has that belly flop to get out. Not enough damage to take down this big old Bacchus. So able to just be a big old nuisance here for Bazinga. Once again, we're back to just staring at waves, and Deduin's basement, they outdo the clear. It feels pretty convincing.
Maybe we can catch out E-Set, stun combo, but because we have to use Ricochet to clear the wave, that's twice now where we had CC chains from our horse and from our Xing Chen, but we haven't been able to follow it up with the Hou Yi stun as well, and that misses us a lot of damage. So Bazinga are not able to capitalize on catching somebody out alone. And this is a bit of a drawback of the 2-tank 180C. And this is what, part of what E-Set covers as well for Deduin's basement, right? It's wave clear. It's the ability to be able to use our damaging clear that isn't also our CC setup. And that is where Hou Yi, in my mind, falls off a bit, right? You rely a lot on Ricochet to be able to clear your wave and get damage off on people. So you have to choose one or the other. And right now, we're choosing to clear wave.
We're choosing violence now. Deduin taking a lot of damage, but he's going to do it back in a tow. Dest has the protective surge to get back to the rest of the teammates. But still, slowly but surely, every time we have these little engagements, Musi, Deduin's basement doing a little bit more damage than they did the last time. Double jump on in, forces out adapting speeds. And Zaki, you stepped up way too far. Sap 7's going to pick up first blood. And now this Xing Chen has to go back home.
Man, well, Black Knife has the ult, lock into Deduin's basement.
Ooh, Shell forced. Dest has to be careful because so much damage is coming out from the basement, and Deduin wants a little bit more. Hits the burp, forces them on out. That was some pretty good damage on that tower. It's not fallen down yet, but 5 minutes in, it's already down to about half health. But Dest, he's in the sky. To the skies going on in, bringing the rest of the team. Well, at least one more member with him. Black Knife gets stunned on out, and no Ricochet on that first ability means not going to be able to get the stun out either. So Deduin's basement, safe.
Say, those autos are ricocheting there. In my mind, for a moment, I was like, man, why isn't the Hou Yi 1 ricocheting? Oh, Godoy. He's got the aspect locked in there. So, that's, maybe building into what I was saying before. We're not able to kill people off of the couple of CC lockdowns that we have. Still not ideal for Bazinga here. We are just kind of waiting for a Hou Yi to scale up. We have the early Chin's Blade. It matches what Adapting's doing. But I'm curious to see if Black Knife is going to follow the school of Adapting and go with that Shifter Shield, or opt for something else here. And it's interesting to see Adapting do the Shifter Shield build that we were building last time, but this time on Xbalanque. And I do wonder if that's still going to be as effective.
Tap 7 has been caught on out, but we have the circle of protections to stay underneath the tower and feel good about it. Black Knife doesn't feel great about anything here because he's taking way too much damage. Doing it picks him up and adapting, uses that Rising Jaguar underneath the tower. Sap 7 is low, but they're trying their best to survive. Zaki picks them up, and Dest lands straight back on top of adapting. Herp is good to stun them on out and try and get him out. We turn back around. Can we hit a couple of autos? We can, but the damage is going to be enough to force Dest and Zaki away from them. The Deduan's basement, they trade out Sap, Black Knife.
All in all, Deduan's basement's pretty happy about the engagement, especially if we can find Destroy here. Going still crazy. These tanks haven't backed up yet. The health bars are so low. But able to get away with their lives while the Deduan's basement finds that purple. Checking back in with the builds here. I like what Bazinga's going for with their tanks. You know what? One of us is gonna have to change. Double shell, double Genjis. Now, double breastplate along the way. The only differences here between the tanks is that one of them's got the old Bluestone, the other one's got the Warrior's Axe. But it's a similar story too for Deduan and Sap 7. Shifters into breastplate. However, the Olmec Blue is a little different. I imagine we'll see the Amanita's Charm again. Whereas Deduan looks to be picking up either Dwarven Plate or potentially a Pridwin, I would assume, with that engraved guard.
Well, a lot of camaraderie here for the Bazinga frontliners. And Deduan's basement, we know how well they play together. Steps on forward, though, stun forced. And Dest already on low. Zach puts two members underneath the tier 1 tower, but they both have leaps to be able to get back to safety. The health bars aren't favoring them, and Dest is getting on in there, as is Black Knife, stunned on the engage, and Deduan is able to keep the rest of the team off of them. Zaki, no Whirlwind of Rage and Steel to call for. The rest of Deduan's basement, health bar is looking low. Stun's going into Sap 7, but Dest stunned back in turn. Here comes the shell to keep our health bars looking nice and good. Sap 7 forced down on low, put into the sky, and we have yet another shell, but it's not enough. Eset is off of the map, and all three of Bazinga's members still alive.
Man, the healing from Horus is sneaky good here, just barely keeping Dest alive, while also making sure that Jingchen and Ho Yi are able to stay topped off there. So, good stuff from the Horus. I like the ultimate there too, very aggressive. Black Knife takes it in as well, and even though they got stunned the moment they came out, it was still did the job to make space for their team, so that, you know, the Jing and the Ho Yi could move forward there. Deduan's basement trying to fight against the Ho Yi aspect inside that corridor, that top corridor next to the red buff. Not ideal, just because those Ho Yi auto bounces get so much value. It's near impossible for him to miss in there.
Autos, and ain't it honestly kind of scarily, right? I mean, this is kind of, I don't want to say Mickey, but a lot of people don't like fighting it because what can you do? We see it time and time again where he's able to like go to okay, yeah.
I'll call it Mickey for you. Don't worry, it's Mickey.
You just stand so far back, do a couple of geometry lessons, and you half health the backliner. It feels not too bad if you're playing it, but horrible to play in.
Not ideal, but you know what? That's just kind of the name of the game. And Black Knife is going for the same ADC build that Adapting's doing, right? So we'll have the Executioner, we've got our Shifters, everybody's just got a Shifters. They didn't catch the memo, I guess, on the nerf. Maybe they just don't care. But everyone will be extra tanky, which does give a lot of value to the Chins and to the Exi.
Deduan's on in there. Flop is good, but we have that one back on out. Deduan, though, is now faced under the tower. He has a circle of protections landed on his dome, so his health bar doesn't look all too bad for it. And Sap 7 is getting on in there. Shell forced, and the stuns are raining down. Black Knife trying their best to get out, and they are able to. Dest and Zaki doing their work to be able to peel out Hu Yi, but the tier 1 tower for Bazinga falls.
Dash in.
Re-engage.
Dest is taking a lot of damage off these engages, Moon, and it's because of the Shroud of Vengeance from Deduan.
A lot of damage, but into the skies. Look at Dest landing on down. Came back from the fountain with a full health bar, and the rest of the team is here. Double leap on in. We have the jump on out, but look at Sap 7 trying his best to distract. Hide in the minions doesn't matter because Black Knife is going to shove one straight into your back. Now Adapting, being chased down by Dest. Zaki, the slow is good, and eventually you're going to fall on down as well. 2 members down for Deduin's basement, but hey, Deduin was able at least to get that back off. So he's safe for
I'll have a minion wave pushing into the tier 1. Deduin's basement won't spawn in time to defend it, but I don't believe that Bazinga can go for a Lost Night pull here. You just kind of have to force the issue and try to see if you can get some work in on this Phoenix before adapting comes out.
Deduin's getting on in there. Whirlwind of Rage and Skill is going to put him back even further. Triple Intoxicate, and now we're trying to force the rest of Bazinga away. Black Knife running as far as he can. Sap 7, though, going to find him out. The stun is good. But look at this peel. It's like they're just playing Sap 7 duty, trying to keep them off. But how well can you do it when the CC from Deduin's basement and you locked in tow? Their health bars ain't looking great. Black Knife over the wall means he can't get hit by autos. Dest falls on down, and you can't back away there in the bush because adapting, he spotted you on out, and Deduin's basement is on the case.
Flop over the wall. Belch will catch. Black Knife is dead. Zaki will be the only one to defend here. Adibo is finished off by Black Knife while they're back in that base, but might be a little too late. Man, Deduin was doing so much damage with that Shroud of Vengeance when they stood next to Black Knife as they were getting CC'd by Zaki and Destroy. It was just too much damage.
Sap 7 takes down the Phoenix for Bazinga, so now Deduin's basement still showing that they know how to tangle. All the meanwhile, though, look at adapting. They spotted him on out, but they can't stop it because that Lost Night is theirs. Dest into the sky is going to bring Zaki down with him, trying to find what they can, but Sap 7 is on the case. He can peel too, buddy. Doesn't matter how much you try. Adapting is going to be able to get back home.
Titan is disabled. Deduin's basement will have that Lost Night buff, which, if I'm not mistaken, was it nerfed recently or was it nerfed a patch ago? I think the time is blending in together, but it's still incredibly strong. I mean, it gives you some of that penetration, some of the health and mana regen, like a baby fire giant buff. But what's really important here are the builds that are getting finished by Deduin's basement. Kinetic Cuirass for Deduin, Audibo for adapting, so now we're just ripping these auto attacks.
Auto attack through, and just look at them try and bounce around adapting. Just gotta be careful of where you step. The rest of Deduin's basement, though, they're stepping on forward. Here comes, turn out the lights, and we've been spotted on out. Dest, Zaki on the case, but Deduin is running down Black Knife, so that means they just don't have the damage to get the kill. But look at Dest's health bar, it's falling down on low, has to use that to the sky's ultimate, but he can't get out fast enough. The bird has been shot from the sky, and now Zaki is the next target. 3 members strong, they have the lost buff for another 30 seconds, and the Titan is the target. It's falling down fast. Black Knife needs forced on out early. Has to dive bomb back to the fountain. But all the meanwhile, the basement, they're still on the Titan, pulled down to about 3k HP. And what can you do to stop it? Because they just do so much damage, and they're keeping you stunned and away. These guys are just playing with their food at this point. Black Knife is sitting in the fountain. What can you do to kill him? Not much, but you can finally end the game.
Oh, man. Yeah, at some point, it was really Deduin in my mind that put in a lot of work this game. This Bacchus got in everybody's face and just had a bunch of damage. And, you know, items like Shroud of Vengeance, Kinetic Cuirass, these items that just give you free damage simply for existing in a fight. What are you doing? Oh, I'm getting CC'd and throwing out auto attacks. The same thing that every tank does ever all the time, right? It makes Deduin deal so much more damage. It makes them so much harder to actually kill and commit to because your tanks and your squishies are sitting there like, hey, well, do I want all of this smoke? You know, I'm not sure if I want to be able to fight for here too long. Also gives you so much damage mitigated. 38k, like Deduin was just absolutely face tanking the world. It was a good effort from Bazinga there. It looked like they had a pretty solid start for a bit, but ultimately it just felt like, this is crazy to say, you know, a little lacking in the CC, and I'm telling you, the Hou Yi drop-off is imminent. It is on the way. People are going to start realizing.
Sun on the horizon. They're not falling out of the sky, but Hou Yi not looking as strong as he once did. Don't forget, though, this is Vault Band, so we're not seeing Scary X-Ball anymore as we make our way into game number 2, but That's just going to have to wait till after this short break. We'll be right back! Hello, one and all, and welcome back to the Summer Bash. My name is Moonmellows. I'm joined here by Musi, Jithens, and Dazdai up above us, making sure everything runs all good. And don't forget, we're into game number 2 of the semifinals to Duin versus Bazinga. Musi, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited. Let's touch on this really quickly so we can get right into the game, right? Ball bans. All the picks we saw in the last game, no mas. No more. Not allowed. Not going to be in here. They can't be picked for the rest of the set, actually. So, Jing Chen, Iset, Horus, Xbalanque, Ho Yi, and Bacchus. We'll probably have a little... I think we'll have a little graphic there on those picks and ban screens, but I'll shout it out again. Those gods cannot be picked, which means we have to go back to the drawing board and pick some new, fresh hotness to be able to run in this game, too.
Gotta keep it fresh, gotta keep it clean, because you know what? We get bored pretty fast. You gotta entertain us. No X-Ball! You must play Artemis now, or some other character with an AA stem. That's what I want to see.
Boom. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want! I want somebody to play Neith. I want somebody to play Neith so bad. I saw Neith last week in a Joust. It was in an NA Joust. Somebody locked in Neith. And it was like I saw the future. And now she's even better than she was before. So I'm telling you, you should just pick her. She's so good.
Up on the block, will she get picked? We'll find out here now as we make our way into picks and bans to Duin's basement versus Bazinga. Bazinga still taking that first pick option, and as Musi stated below, all those guys down there, bye-bye, you ain't gonna see them.
Bye. Bye, girly. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. It's you're out of here. I don't want to see you. You can't sit with us. So, what does that leave?
Oh,
for
the cool
us,
kids
right? Well, yeah, I say this is where the cool kids are.
That was so that
Aphrodite?
comp. So last.
Yeah, it's so last game, guys. Can we please? Okay. Achilles, Aphrodite, Cabrakan. Ban those gods. Wan Yu. Ban that one too, right? Those are the 4 that I really feel like those should just be off the table. And boom, boom. Oh, the Hercules as well. Deduin's Basement has a ban. Interesting. They want to let
Sap
something
banned.
through.
Sap 7's banned.
Oh. Oh, yeah, it says Sap. Backwards. Flip. Well, it'll be a 2v3. Very sewer reminiscent there.
That's what I say. I feel like pickups. Right? No, but the bans, they make sense, right? We're not going to see Sun Wukong actually. That was a little surprising to me. Am I not a ball nowhere? Is
That's
that guy
odd.
like on the up and up?
Well, Snatty posted a video about Sun Wukong. But he also said, and I quote, "Don't get baited into the Sun Wukong pick because your KD ratio is going to look a little inflated because he's a very safe pick." Maybe that's not a direct quote. Maybe that's just verbatim. But, you know, he's not wrong. I don't know if he's ban worthy, but he's pretty okay. In Joust, I feel like he's got some stuff he can pull out, but when it comes to what I consider to be pretty solid for Joust right now, it's any level of sustain, sustain and utility. You'll notice that the Sobek should be available here. Yeah, as I look over to the side and I double check the gods that are, picked last game, I'll say them again: Xing Chen, Iset, Horus, Xbalanque, Hui, and Bacchus. Sobek is not part of that list. Sobek would be a good pick here. I would say, if we're looking at hunters, I think Neith is really solid here. I like to see the Neith. You want to pick a mage. Morgan Le Fay, or I think the Apwash could be good, depending on what we're playing into. And then you also have things like, you can just slam an Osiris whenever you feel like it. Not too shabby, not too bad, live forever God. But, and this is, maybe a controversial opinion. This is where things get crazy. But if healing is really good, and hunters are really good, isn't Bologna with Aspect just solid here if you go like Arrowsbow?
Yeah.
Like, Aspect, Bologna, Shield Bash, and yeah.
It just makes so much sense, right? Like, especially when hunters are good. Bologna is pretty notoriously anti-hunter, has a disarm in the kit, able to run at you. Maybe also, haven't seen it yet, I'm not sure if it's banned, let me check, but I don't even know if it's heat, but Aspect, like Bastet, right? We don't see it a lot. It's not banned. It's able to be played. Maybe we don't see it for a reason, but I don't know. I feel like something with a disarm could go pretty ham.
See, Aspect Bastet is something that could be pretty fun. Not something we see very often. I feel like a lot of people don't find a lot of value in it. But she is a beads burner. I think the thing about Aspect Bastet is she's like a support in the same way that, like, she's like a backliney support. She can't really face tank too well, but she has a lot of really solid CC. Like, the range stuns are just good. They are just good. She's got the disarm. And then the kitty cat pickup is a beads burner there. So I feel like there's some potential, but your team comps have to be so tight in Joust. It has to be so focused. There's no wiggle room like there is in Conquest where you're like, oh, this is like my counter pick in my comp. He kind of works well with what I'm doing here, but mostly they're there to kind of screw up with what the other team is doing. Whereas in Joust, it's like, listen, these 3 gods are the good gods. These are the good ones. We are picking them because they are broken and they're good together, and that's what we gotta do, right? So, that's why I feel like maybe we don't get to see as many spicy things, but if we're gonna see any level of spice, I'm telling you, Neath Aspect holding left click really hard, really fast is like super, super solid. And then anything that gives you any kind of healing, like I kind of believe Artio is like a really solid pick here. because she has some healing, she has a cripple, she has lockdown as well. She can run at hunters, be able to toss a stun and kind of wait for the team to show up. She can throw it on the cripple so that they can't get away. You know, wrangle this hunter and hold them down just long enough for your hunter to come over and explode them or pick them up as we get to meander on back towards those picks and bans that we were scooched away from. And this should all look pretty familiar.
Hey, same bands. Nothing changed, just had to take a small little break for the players. And now we get to see what they actually want to first pick overall. And we had a lot of time to think about it, and I wouldn't hate to see that Neath. But instead, going to be a different hunter up on the block on her.
And on her is still good for this attack speed build because he has Prot-Tread attached to his passive. So anytime he hits something with a spear, he takes away some fizz procs, right? Hey, bomba.
Oh,
Guan Yu got through. We forgot about Guan Yu. We had a collective blank on the Guan. I had a collective blank on the Guan. I just assumed for some reason he wouldn't be here. So okay.
Bye.
Nope. Mood. Nope. You gotta stay this time. This is Smite Prime. You can't leave. You're stuck. Yep. You gotta walk. Yep. You're all the way through. Can't leave.
Yeah. Okay.
You're in it for the long now. But I like the responses. Oh, jeez, Louise.
It's scary. Okay, let's talk about what actually got picked. On her, Atlas Sobek picked up for Bazinga here, and scary, right? In its own right. A lot of CC. Atlas able to pull you back. Sobek has the pluck. That one. That comp over there. Cerberus. Anti-heal. Juan. Cupid. I mean, it's scary.
Yeah. There's so much sustain and utility from this Deduan's Basement comp. It actually came straight out of a nightmare.
Terrifying indeed. Let's see if that dream will come to fruition. Can Bazinga fight it off as we make our way into game number 2 of these semifinals? Deduan's Basement versus Bazinga. Will they be able to take it out in 2 or have to go up to the third game? We'll find out here. My name is Moon Mellows. I'm joined here by Musi, Jithan's Tesdai, keeping the eyes up in the sky, making sure everything runs all smooth. And Musi, what do you notice?
So, really got to hand it to Deduan's Basement comp here. Right, we are able to get the Guan Yu when we are second pick, but you immediately follow it up with the Kerberos pick as well. And what that does is it makes it so that your Guan Yu doesn't lose any value whatsoever, because Bazinga can't take that pick from you. Now, any sustain that Bazinga might try to do is going to be interrupted by Sap 7 here, because he's going to steal like half of it. He's got the heal steal attached to his passive in that range. So basically, this means that Deduan's Basement should always out-sustain Bazinga. Like, in every conceivable fight, it should be very easy for Deduan's Basement to just say, hey, listen, we're just going to heal. And now you have this Cupid as well that is going to be doing something similar, right? I mean, Heart Bomb on top of his allies, so he can have infinite mana. And then, look at the damage, too. Oh my gosh, why is Atlas almost dead? Take a chill pill, bud. But between these Heart Bombs, between the Guan Yu Conviction, between the fact that Kerberos will also deny any healing from Zaki, just means that teamfights get very hard very quickly. Level 5 is going to be a turning point. Guan Yu and Kerberos both force beads, and Cupid can as well to an extent. Zaki is the only tank that has a CC immune ultimate. Atlas does not have that CC immune ultimate, and they have double shells. The only person with beads is on her. So these teamfights are going to get pretty wacky. Honestly, if you're Bazinga, I feel like maybe you have a small window of opportunity early game. Go for a pluck to go for a pin combo, kill somebody and be done with it. And then you are chilling till late, because Deduan's Basement teamfight just looks so good here.
It's a ticking time bomb for sure. Especially the more items this Guan Yu gets online, the more able he is just to spam that conviction healing. But we're not there yet. We're just waiting for them. But again, Deduan's Basement, playing this early game, they have this style where they just give up red buff, right? Every left side buff is off the map and now in their hands, including Bazinga's, like, blue buff, right? So it's just so much pressure. And, well, it's time for the fight, because the skills of love into the Stingy and Torment. Deduan takes down Dest. Zaki trying his best to survive. The Gamma Ray Burst was used, but it's not good enough. Deduan's Basement, they're getting active early.
Yo, he stuns the Sobek through the charge prey. That's disgusting. disgusting. And also, shout outs, guess what? The Atlas that doesn't have beads is the one that gets exploded and dies when everybody CCs him. I'm so shocked.
Back up, though, getting aggressive. As Doin's basement, though, still not afraid. We were just talking about these guys, how you have to get them out early. How can you do that when their team fight is so good 2 minutes in?
I mean, the window was just before level 5 / turning into level 5, with the hope that maybe Bazinga gets to hit a level 5 before Doin's basement does. That window's passed. Now we are in turtle mode. Because guess what? Doin's basement is just going to sit there, conviction heal, clear waves, and look for engages. Once those diamonds fill back up for Doin's basement, they're going to run it back, right? Because the On Her won't have beads. And Sobek and Atlas, maybe they'll have their ults up in time. Notably, the Guan Yu should have their ult up first. Yeah, they've already got it up. Because they've got Sands of Time, plus the Genji's Guard. So Guan Yu could look for an initiation here. Sap 7's got their ult. Doduans can just run in here.
Basement, they're already sneaking around, daring Bazinga to step forward, and it looks like Des is going to take the bait, stunned on out, still in the fields of love, and they take so much damage. The Gamma Ray Burst comes on out, but you're stunned in tow. Can you get the kill? Doduan finds it, picks up one, and once again, the basement, hey, beats were forced out this time. Zaki tried to get something started, but now Bazinga on the back up. Going back in, Zaki lurking in the waters, trying to slow on down, get some damage, but Black Knife can't step forward because Sap 7 is just being a guard dog, stunned on out.
Wow.
The Sobek, once again, back home, back in his bag.
Man, I love the positioning there from Sap 7. It was covering the charge prey escape from Zaki, trying to catch them out with that Stygian spit. The paralyzing spit.
Oh,
It's a Stygian. Everything is
Seven.
Stygian.
he got picked on
Yo.
out, but has the jump. Dest's going to chase him on down to this time, and, well, you can't do too much damage. Black Knife under the tower, and it looked like something good for a second. It looked like we were almost able to take down this Cerberus, but I don't know. It's getting scary, Musey. A 1K cold lead in Joust is not anything to scoff at.
A 1K gold lead in Joust is akin to uh-oh territory, especially this early in the game, right? Because of the fact that you should be just about tied for most of this game, and then the fact that it's already spiraling, it just goes to show just how good the draft is from the Doin's basement here. They ran the same playbook back twice. They're gonna do it again, right? Sap 7 goes for a Stygian Torment. Boom, here comes Fields of Love. Here comes the Guan Yu ultimate. Oh, start it again.
Hey, it's textbook, and it's going to keep on happening. This time, though, Dest has a bit more health bar to work with, but it doesn't matter because adapting is still going to shred you on down. Black Knife Zaki in trouble. Under the tower goes to Doin, and here comes the Desert Fury. It gets the final hit, so Black Knife able to turn something around, and Doin is off the map.
Good pluck there from Zaki, forces them into the Phoenix, and a good pillar as well from Black Knife means that Doduan ends up tanking a couple of Phoenix shots as opposed to maybe just the one that they were hoping to walk away from. That pickle helped them stabilize just a little bit and show a bit of lethality that Doduan's basement can't walk all over them, but destroy. This Atlas is not going to have a good time this game until we get some form of CC immunity for these fights.
Snap 7's been picked on up and tossed back twice. Has to jump over the wall, so he's a little bit safer for now. Walls are good into basic attacks because you can't hit through them, so this doggy able to just walk on way all the way back home.
Gargoyle pickup for Sap 7. That's diabolical. What that does is it sets up the Stygian Torment. Because you silence, then you ult. It means that nobody can react to your ult, so you can't try to dash away or charge prey away or anything like that. If you don't have beads, you're a sitting duck. So that is going to be another part of that killer combo here from the Doin's basement. They don't have to change anything about what they're doing. They just have to get more items so it's more and more effective as time goes on. Whereas if you're Bazinga, Talisman of Purification, you need it. It is necessary.
Oh, once again, Stygian Torment, Fields of Love. Black Knight takes a bunch of damage. Desert Fury, though, gonna be good in turn, but the rest of Doduan's basement still running it on down. The paralyzing spit, make sure he's stunned. Dapting finds the kill. He's on a killing spree. This tier 1 tower, this is all happening, and it still hasn't fallen on down yet. Another paralyzing spit is good, but the shell keeps us alive. To doing Pluck back under the tower, and we're taking a bunch of damage. Indeed, has to dash back on out. And he's fine because he's Guan Yu. He has the conviction healings. What was I worried about? Doing's basement playing with fire. They're not even doing any damage to the tower. They're looking for kills.
I mean, if you're able to build yourself just a ridiculous gold lead and keep Bazinga on the back foot, the plan here from Doduin's basement is to kill these towers via the Lost Knight, or just slamming teamfights so hard that... Hold on, did Adapting get caught out here?
Adapting caught on out. He's been plucked on in, and the rest of Bazinga sniff it, and hit the pillar is perfect. Adapting is stuck, has the beast to get on out, but look who's waiting for him. It's Zaki on the back end side. Pluck is good, but Black Knife is kept away from the rest of his team, and Des is the one who falls on down. Stingy and Torment picks up the crocodile, and he's doing his best to trying to get some damage on the back end side of it. But Sap 7, has he missed a paralyzing spit yet? I don't think so. 2 members for what looked like a good fight just went up in flames.
I mean, not able to finish the kill onto Adapting because they still have that shifter shield. Gives them a bit of, you know, protections, but Cupid self-sustains a bit as well. Even though it was really good on her ability to keep him locked in. Now we get to take a look at the tower. And it is just going to be a very, very hard fight for Bazinga.
A lot to work through here to do it now. It's your job. Go ahead. Yep, there's one. Let's see the next one. The health bar is going to slowly go back on up. Who needs to go back to the fountain? We have Cupid. We have Guan Yu. We have Fountain at home, baby. And Bazinga, I mean, their health bars look good, but just as good as the basements.
What's funny, too, I believe Sap 7 could be going for an Amanita's Charm as well. You see that Engraved Guard plus the health medallion there. And you have that Heartward Charm there for Doduin. So now these Convictions heals are going to be coming out just about as fast as they can. Sands of Time, Genji's Breastplate. That's how it goes. There's that Amanita Charm for Sap 7, so we're going to have so much sustain. Just a ridiculous amount of sustain. And Bazinga gets to have, count with me, Moon, none. 0. None. None at all. Because of that Kerberos. And because, you know, we just... all we have is Sobek healing to begin with. Talisman of Purification picked up by Zaki.
Ooh! That's
a good, at least.
Once again, he's stunned on out. Stingy and Torment picks up 2, puts them straight into the fields of love, and they're not loving this one. But health bars are looking good on the back end side of it. Sap 7, though, runs at the lion underneath the tower, and he's being juggled around, pushed into the wall, plucked on back. Des, make sure to pick him up as well, but it still isn't looking good, and Des, in fact, is the one in trouble. The doggy picks up the big man with the world on his shoulders, and, I mean, Black Knife has to use that first to get on out. Zaki, well, we had a beads, use them to try and survive. Adapting is on a rampage, and finally the tier 1 tower is going to fall on down.
If we use this Talisman of Purification for anything, it's got to be for Stingy and Torment. Just to interrupt the flow of Doduin's basement's team fight. Oh no, beads force from on her, he disperses out, it's fine. But now Bazinga, or rather Doduin's basement, gets to force their presence on the map.
This is why you banned Guan Yu. Black Knife out of the game. Adapting dashes on forward, able to find that kill. And now we're going around for a bit more. Stingy and Torment picks up 2, and now they're stunned. Brots have been shredded. And all this meanwhile, we're slowly whittling down this Phoenix to Doduin's basement. They have it back to base in I don't know how long, but it doesn't matter because the Phoenix is all but a bygone memory. 3 members stand, walk back to their home.
Could go back to Lost Knight, disable this Titan, but purple and red buff are up. I wonder how much gold is in hand at this point with all the fighting that they've been doing and the fact that they haven't been able to hit those backs. Everybody's backing up now. Let's see what we finish up here, right? Adi bow for Adapting. A full Genji's Guard for Sap 7. More bows for Adapting. The Silver Branch will be on the way. Doduin hits their back. Freya's Tears. Now that makes sense too. Freya's Tears is one of those items that's another one that I think is one of the good items. But I don't see it built too often. But I really feel like the stats on it are really solid, and the effect is good as well. It pairs well with something like a Shifters or a Berserkers. But for a Guan Yu, it gives you a 20 cooldown rate and procs. That's all this character really wants, because you are a conviction bot. Adapting solo is Lost Knight.
once again. That's his bread and butter. Lost Knight is down, and he's back on the way for the rest of his team. That means the Titan is weakened, so Duan's basement, running it on down, stuck in the fields of love is Dest, and unfortunately, that's all you're gonna see this game. Sent home packing for the 6th time. This Atlas has just been the target of so much aggression. What can he do but watch as Duan's basement hit the Titan? It's down to half HP, and Sap7 is just being a bully once again, standing at the fountain line, trying to be a nuisance. The Titan's down to 4k HP, and once again, the basement, they're just playing with their food.
Titan stun, adapting hitting autos. Maybe one day we'll take that last delicious bite, not before finding, oh, no kill for you. Black Knight lives with 1 health. Duan's basement. Bomba.
Bomba, indeed. It was 11-1. That's what happens when you let Guan Yu through and you put adapting on a hunter. Right? I mean, and even then, Sap7 on the Kerberos. You mentioned it. I said it right. You're welcome. Did that make you happy? I said it. You liked it?
Thank you for defending me, man.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. It was dominant gameplay from these.
Yes. Here's the thing. This was a draft diff. From top to bottom, this was a draft diff. Because Duan's basement finds the Guan Yu and the Kerberos in the same comp. Kerberos is like one of the answers to the Guan Yu because you're able to deny some of the healing from the Guan because of the heal steal. Had none of that. So now we have a monopoly on sustain, and then you throw a Cupid on top of that. We have so many circles in the Steam comp to be able to just say, hey, listen, I don't care. We're going to run the same playbook back. The Talisman of Purification came out too late for Bazinga, and then when we had the Talisman of Purification, we didn't talisman the Stygian Torment from Sap7. You have to break the first chain of events because the Fields of Love come down immediately after that Stygian Torment. Sometimes it's already there. So you have to pop that talisman in order to get away from it all. But we just didn't see that. So Duan's basement just completely walk away with it.
They walk away with it 2-0 here in the semifinals. That means they're going to be, once again, the contenders in the final placement. Who will they be up against? We know now it's going to be LeBoogs, but we're going to see that fight. Not just yet, because we have a short break around the corner, so stick around, go get some water, take a walk around, because we have some more action coming at you live. Hello, one and all, and welcome back to the Summer Bash. My name is Moon Mellows, joined here by Musi, and Jithens, Tezdai have been with us here all day to finally get down to this point. But first, let's talk about it. This is the last one here with us. Let's see what we've been looking at for this entire Summer Bash event. That's right, 8,100 throughout this entire little stint.
But for today, it's a piece of the pie. For EU Joust, it's $525. That last slice that remains in that pie tin for somebody to pick up and have, but there is a little bit more involved for this go-around.
Indeed. Let's see what it took us to get all the way up to here. Phenomenal teams, phenomenal games all the way through, but Doin's Basement and Laboogs able to 2-0 their opponents in the semifinals, and now we are here up to the real ones. It's the finals of the EU Joust tournament, baby.
Boom. And these are two really solid teams as well, so I'm very excited to see how they face off against each other. In fact, I'm pretty sure we saw them face off against each other last week, if I'm not mistaken. Saw both Laboogs and Doin's Basement. But this time, Doin's Basement will be on that classical EU shenanigan ping. They won't have to worry about anything like lag or anything like that, so they are experiencing the homeland advantage. Same for Laboogs as well, who I was also fairly sure was an EU camaraderie team as well. So, pumped for that. But I think if we talk a little bit about picks and bans before we actually get into picks and bans, just to kind of know and establish some stuff here. If you didn't know it before, if it wasn't indicated to you from the last Joust, where it was me and Dilo, Moon has been caught up to speed now. Guan Yu. No more. Done.
No mas.
Done. No mas. Por favor. I don't want it. No mas. I don't care for it. Hercules, E-Set, also very good to do his basement. Likes to look at those. Hou-Yi, I'm on the fence. I don't know if I'm a Hou-Yi believer.
On the fence, he looks like it might be time for the drop off, but we'll see here as we make our way into the picks and bans of game number 1. You said it, it's Laboogs and Doin's Basement against each other. Aprio, Lachil, and Quaquamokwo?
Quaquamokwo. Yeah, you got it on the first try. Deal and I we were struggling for a bit, so shout out Moon Mellows. Up top.
Thank you. Okay.
So, one of the things to remember too, and we'll talk about it after this game 1, but the picks that you see locked in won't be available for the rest of the set. So, these first picks and bans are actually very important as a pace setter for the rest of the set that's going to be happening here. Both the bans will be happening simultaneously, so both teams don't really know what the other ones are banning, but if you're Doin's Basement, you're probably banning out Guan Yu, Aphrodite, and maybe a Hercules, something along those lines. Your Laboogs, probably like an E-Set ban, maybe Opwash, or... well, actually, maybe not Opwash. Doin's Basement has been running this 2-tank 180C comp pretty consistently today. But maybe you're banning that E-Set Hercules combination, a Guan Yu if you're not going to pick it. The Sobek makes sense. So this all kind of lines up the way that I would expect. Looks like the E-Set came through.
Ooh. E-Set for Laboog. Sap 7 has to be on something a little less, not as comfortable. This is like has been his first go-to pick for almost every game this entire series. And now, going to be forced onto something that we saw he was comfortable on, right? This Kerberos. You're welcome. Looked very good, very strong for it here, and also very good into what E-Set wants to do, which is Ilya.
And now, in the past, this pick was very good into E-Set. Because of the way Stygian Torment worked, it was a Levitate, which got around the Wing Gust that was displacement immune from E-Set. Now, Kerberos's Stygian Torment is a displacement. So now I feel like E-Set has a better play into Kerberos. You got the stun and the silence that disrupt the ghastly breath, but I feel like it's still good for Doin's Basement as a Beadsburger.
Yeah, Cupid, Thor locked on in here for the Boogs, and Deduin's Basement end out their draft with that nefarious X-Ball. And one thing I do want to say about this Laboogs comp is it kind of scarily looks like a Deduin's Basement comp, right? Adapting Thor, ESET over for Sap 7, and maybe Deduin runs the Cupid, but kind of all gods that they've been known to play. So looking at two of these, which one are you favoring?
I do like Deduin's Basement's comp again. Xbalanque is rising in the ranks for me in terms of hunters that I think are pretty strong. Deduin's going to be able to be very aggressive with this Bacchus pickup. But Laboogs have pretty solid teamfight presence here. ESET Cupid, you know, big circle ultimates. Thor is interesting to me. I always feel like he's not as good in Joust for reasons that escape me. It just never feels or looks as good as I would assume it to be. But I do like Thor specifically into the Xbalanque. The Rising Jaguar can't really get around that Thor wall. So it looks like this Thor should be able to cut off Xbalanque's path and maybe take them down. So we already know that shells are going to be picked up by probably Kerberos and a Bacchus. So they need to make sure that they hang around Xbalanque so that he can get around that Thor wall.
Trying to get around the Thor wall. We'll see if he is able to do it this time as we make our way into game number 1 of the finals. It's Laboogs versus Deduin's Basement as they march it on down to win the final prizing left for the Summer Bash. My name is Moonmellows. I'm joined here by Musi, Jithens, Tezdai. We've been here all day for this penultimate moment of game number 1.
It is the ESET aspect again, Quaquamokwo, taking a page of Sap 7's book. Selflessness and War Flag starts for Deduin and Sap 7, so we really are just kind of protect the president for Xbalanque. The plan from Deduin's Basement is to try to scale so that Adapting can get all their items online and hold left click better than everybody else, whereas Laboogs want to take early fights here. They have a lot of really good CC to start things off and good follow-up as well. The question is, can they force the issue early?
Trying to. A good wall from April is going to make Deduin in a little bit of trouble here. The hammer is that heart bomb stun. So far, a little bit of a different start for Deduin's Basement, right? They're not doing that kind of thing we got used to where they would take the purple, their blue, and the enemy team's blue as well. But now they're going to be stunned by a good wall. 2 members walked on down, forced to shell and jump away. That is terrifying.
As a double shell needed from Deduin's Basement, that means that Laboogs should be able to take this red, unless they just give it up for some reason.
Oh, Adapting stunned on out, but the wall off the mark means they did. Oh, Deduin's Basement stole away that red buff, and now Adapting stayed a little bit way too far, uses the Rising Jaguar, but goes back in, forces out the shell. Adapting is the first one up, down on the mark. Wall's good onto Sap 7. Fields of Love as well. Epriel's in the sky. Sap 7 not going to be in trouble. Well, no, in fact, he is. Quaquamoko picks him up.
It'll be the first 2 kills that we kind of expected to see from Laboogs earlier on in the fight. Now to be able to confirm them all over again is the thing about Xbalanque, right? You really just can't be too aggressive in that early game.
Apriel been stunned on out, but it has the hammer, but Adapting is here, uses the Darkest of Nights, trying to get in there. But look at Quaquamokwo's got the body blocks. Apriel gets to survive for a little bit longer. Deduin chases him under the tower just to fall on down to the shots. 2 members down for Laboogs, and Deduin pays for his life with a tower shot.
Deduin's Basement are able to take the blue buff off of that engagement, so that's going to push them to be a little bit more tied with Laboogs, who had found purple after their couple of kills. So it's a good tit for tat here so far. Both teams getting fairly active pretty early, trying to get one leg up over the other one before things scale towards that mid-late game, where I really do feel Deduin's Basement is going to be very comfortable once they are able to get some extra items online. Just got to make sure that you can get there. So a lot of that means that Adapting wants to play back a little bit. If we're going to fight, we're fighting off the Deduins and Sap 7's engage. It'll be a little harder.
Apriel leaps on in and takes half of his health for daring to even try and use that flop on the chill. Apriel is kind of terrifying on this Thor so far, going a full Genji's, but doesn't have the aspect, so he's just dealing so much damage.
Yeah, the double tap from the Mjolnir's attunement is going to be the main driving force of the damage from Thor. He has crazy good poke and good CC to interrupt what Curb wants to do. Like that, jump in. Sap7 was looking for an ult there, I guarantee you.
Yeah, she looks for the ult, but finds the Fields of Love instead and takes a bunch of damage. Apriel forced to go into that Anvil of Dawn. But where is he going to land? That's the question. Well, under the tier 1 tower. Wants to play it a little bit safe for now. Deduin's basement not going to fall down as easily, but still, both these teams have incredible team fight.
Wakwamoko and Lachill can offer a bit of sustain to Apriel. So they'll be able to make sure Thor doesn't get picked too much. With that Genji's guard too, he should have a lot of cooldowns to be able to keep himself safe.
We have found ourselves a target. Kwakwamoko has been picked up by the Stygian Torment and taken out on a down. Deduin make sure that Eset is sent back home packing, but Apriel found the wall. Gonna be able to get out this time. A little bit sneaky though, but Boogs kinda on the back foot. Deduin's basement able to have a bunch of good engagements. Flop forces out the beads. Lachill has to dash back on out. Now, Deduin's basement, treat to the red buff.
What's so good about the Stygian Torment is not starting a fight with it necessarily, but it's like step 2 in the 3-step plan. Step 1, Deduin goes in for a flop, knock up Kwakwamoko. During that knock-up, you start your, Stygian Torment, so that the moment Kwakwamoko falls down, you immediately scoop them back up. And this makes it so that they can't use Wing Gust to get away from your ultimate, right? That is very good lockdown from Deduin's basement, and that's the combo I think we're going to see pretty frequently in this game. That's like the bread and butter for this team composition. And while this is happening, adapting is just throwing out autos and poison darts in the backline.
A double stun, Lachill is forced back on low, and the Intoxicate is able to take him out in the sky, landing back on down. Apriel, it's 2 with that Anvil of Dawn, but we don't have the damage in tow. Our Cupid is off the map, and adapting is there, hungry, ready to hold left click, gets stunned on out, and the double tap hits him hard. Phantom Shell ain't gonna be enough to save his life. The king is out, but Apriel pays for it with his life. Bacchus picks that one on up. Deduin is 4-1-1 now. The rest of the Boogs thrown the way. He has to get out.
I don't hate that trade. For Apriel, being able to take down adapting is pretty good. You're trying to delay the Shibalanka as much as possible. The Chin's Blade is online, and the Shifter Shield will be here soon. 850 gold from that Survivor Sash and the Engraved Guard. So it shouldn't be too much longer. Oh, never mind, there it is. Yeah, not too much longer at all, actually. And the Glad Shield pickup from Sap7. Glad Shield is one of those items I thought we would be seeing more of because of how good protections were, but maybe not so much. But for a character like the Cerberus who has damage on each of his abilities and tends to use them in succession, that Glad Shield damage stacks up very quickly. So I like it as a pickup for Curb.
Again, we step into the tower and we bring Kwakwamoko back to the rest of our team, adapting, able to take them on down, but you're stuck in the Fields of Love. You're stunned on out. Shell's good to be forced, but up into the sky goes Apriel, off the mark with the Anvil of Dawn. He's been stunned this time. Now it's Deduin's basement's duty to try and save adapting, but they're unable to do it in this moment. He falls on down, and Apriel has the hammer, has the wall, and he's trying his best to run away. Paralyzing Spit off the mark. Apriel's going to get out, so we instead turn on to Lachill, who still has the dash. Laboogs are safe.
Man, Sap7 was just shy of hitting that paralyzing spit on the Thor there. That would have been enough to take him down. But he'll be able to make it out with his life. Laboogs have been doing a good job keeping their heads above the water here. Has a good pick, potentially, but Deduin is going to be able to get away. I wonder if we'll see that Shroud of Vengeance again from Deduin, especially considering how much CC Laboogs have. I feel like he'll be able to proc a lot of damage off of it. Hunter's Bow is picked up by adapting, so we know that the Audibo is probably around the corner here for us. If not Audibo, then I know they like to look at the Executioner as well in that third slot for their Hunters. Lachill's going something a little bit different though, right? We haven't talked about the Cupid. Tearfing is the pickup, still very good, but then the Avenging Blade to be able to reduce some percent protection shred, as well as offer a bit of extra health. So it's like Shifters in the sense that it's like a defensive option because you get some extra tankier stats, but it is also your tank shred option as well. This means that maybe you have room in the build for some more damage items, as opposed to needing to pick up the XE, or you could just do both.
Oh, April was in the sky, but Dawn, the anvil of it, was off the mark. So Laboogs still getting aggressive here, and I don't blame them for it. We're about 9 minutes into this game, 6-5, and honestly, pretty neck to neck. Only a couple 700 gold mixing these two teams, but the Fields of Love's going to come on out. Use this as the Stygian Torment to force out the beads. Chill back under the tower into Deduin's basement. They're trying to get something started, but they're taking way too much damage. Deduin has to flop back on out, and Chill has now been re-engaged upon April. All beads forced away. Now, Boog's a little bit weaker in this fight, and Deduin's basement stepping on forward. A 3-man heart bomb, though, is going to just dissuade Deduin from wanting to re-engage. No one's going to fall.
So having that Talisman of Purification for Kwakwamokwo is so key, because part of what makes Deduin's basement team comp so scary is that chain CC. If you can break the chain, suddenly this team comp is a little bit easier to play into. Now, granted, Laboog still got pushed back at the end of the day, but you'll notice that none of them died. And that is going to be a big difference maker, right? You know, sky is blue, more news at 7, but being able to stay alive means you can get back to your farm, means you can contest objectives. This Lost Night is going to be a point of contention soon, because we have not been able to make big strides into taking out these towers. Both teams are going to be realizing, like, hey, the only way we really get that is by winning a big fight and or disabling it. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone by picking a fight around that Lost Night. So now we're in a moment of like a stalemate, right? Either we find picks and go from there, or we just decide to start fighting around that Lost Night and try to force something to happen. While that decision-making is going on, we just try to farm to hit level 20. And this is what the game looks like for the rest of it.
We're just waiting for stuff to get started. Sap 7 jumps on in with the
stun.
heart bomb. The silence on the back end side of it means he can't use that Stygian Torment. So we're going to keep seeing this one. April, though, stepped up a little bit forward. Fields of Love forced on down. Stun is good into Adapting, who takes half of his health bar in tow. April goes up into the sky, and where is he going to land down upon? Back onto Dudu, who gets stunned back on out, but this time Sap 7 has picked up 3 people, puts them straight into that circle of protections. April is down off the map. Sap 7 picks up 1, and we might as well try and look for another. Chill. The stun is good on the Kwakwamokwo. Adapting picks that guy up, and the Boogs are 2 members down.
Deduin's basement find yet another massive Stygian Torment, which is the same playbook that they have been running this whole game. Laboogs find good damage onto Adapting, but once we, once once April takes so much poke there and goes up into the Thoralt, when we decide to commit back in, that opens up the opportunity for Deduin's basement to let Sap 7 play around a flank and just look for a big ult. Like, you just have to be so careful committing to these fights, because the turnaround to Deduin's basement is so strong when your Purification Talisman is down. And it was. Kwakwamokwo wasn't going to have it for another 20 seconds there, which means that Laboogs realistically can't take that fight. So now we're back on the back foot, right? And this is going to open up some bigger plays for Deduin's basement.
Has the hammer to get on out, and you mentioned it, right? Deduin's basement, they just have so much lockdown. It's oppressive. Anytime Sap 7, this guard dog wants blood. Call him a bloodhound as much as he steps forward, daring people to be locked inside of his ultimate. Look at Adapting. They're just playing guard dog duty now because Adapting is just raining it on that Lost Night. Laboogs is aware of it, though, so they're not going to allow it to happen, but kind of in this tango as April in the air off the mark. Things are just going to fizzle out for now.
I mean, Laboogs keep Deduin's basement from pulling the Lost Night, so it's a fight won at the end of the day. But Deduin's basement is ahead, so they can play the stall game, knowing that they're up on the farm.
Step forward, Kwakwamokwo has been pulled back on in. Lachil's beads are down, and we're going in for Adapting, who's been caught on out behind the other side of the wall. The damage is good. Double stun, knock up as well. Laboogs, this is looking good for them, but Deduin's basement have turned it around. Shell, this keeps them up nice and alive, and this big old Bacchus is just being annoying. Flop off the mark means Lachil is a little bit safe for now, and the paralyzing spit off the mark as well. They keep dodging every ability, but Deduin's basement caught back on out as well. Deduin silenced, slowed, but able to flop away. Again, just another tie between both of these engagements for the team.
Really good util from Laboogs. I especially appreciate that gargoyle from April. Saves his life. Sap 7 and Deduin. We're looking to channel some abilities there to get damage off. That Bacchus Belch was going to stun out April and get them facing the black and white there. But with that silence, he is able to get away. Talisman is down for 80 seconds. And Sap 7 is going to have their ultimate again soon, so you can expect Deduin's Basement to once again force the issue. Keep being aggressive. And the way you can do that is by pulling a Lost Knight and forcing the Boogs to walk at you, or by simply running it down, right? Sap 7 can kind of jump in or look for a Paralyzing Spit to start things off. Deduin flop in. If you find a knock-up, that's it. Straight into the Stygian Torment. Doesn't matter if it hits one person or three people. Deduin's Basement want to take that fight to get a numbers advantage so they can go do something else on the map, i.e. that Lost Knight, red buff, or purple buff.
Hard for the Boogs to be able to step up and find something. They have really good answers within the team fight, but just to start it, it's looking a little hard here. And I mean, Sap 7, he just takes stun after stun, dares the team to step forward, and now it'll be time for a little bit of sneaky play. They think something's happening at the Lost Night, but instead everyone's backing, getting their items online. Now, I don't know, Musy, it's getting kind of dangerous because the Silver Branch bro is online.
There it is for adapting. That's the big power spike, right? I mean, this item brings so much to characters that are able to have so much attack speed. Now the next big thing for adapting is leveling up that starter item. Maybe looking for something like a Sunbeam Bow. You pop your Branching Bolas, pop your Sunbeam Bow, hold left click on something to get your mana back to feed your Bolas and your Sunbeam. And then that's that.
And a good stun starts out, but a 3-man Stygian Torment forces out the Talisman of Purification, but it's not going to be enough to save LaChill's life. Deduin picks that one on up. Cupid is off the map. All the meanwhile, this was a 2v3 that they're losing. Adapting picks up the Lost Knight. That Phoenix ain't hurting nobody anymore. And these unkillable behemoths of the basement stay alive, knocking it on down. Adapting finally joining the party, and April's health bar shows it because it's just falling down oh so fast. The true target is now the Phoenix. Guys, get out of the Titan room because the Phoenix, well, it just now fell on down. April in the sky lands off the mark. Shell forced on down, though, and it's just up to Kwakwamokwo to try and keep the teammates off of them, but April has to go back to base. His health bar can't handle the smoke, and Adapting is holding left click better than anybody else. Feeds, forced on out, and the rest of Laboogs running at him, trying to get the kill. Two members forcing Adapting away, but the Titan, it's down to 200, it's down to 100, it's off the map. Deduin's Basement win game number 1.
It was a really good draft from Deduin's Basement that it was executed perfectly in these team fights, right? Like CC into Stygian Torment, into finding kills. Bacchus as well does so much damage. Didn't even go with the Shroud of Vengeance this time, but actually the Kinetic Cuirass and the Pridwin. So more items that deal damage based on your protection scaling to just kind of force the issue and keep the backliners away. Even in the 2v3s, Deduin and Sap 7 were handling it while Adapting was just doing whatever they kind of felt like doing around the map. You know, when you stop and smell the roses, you might as well hang out, take a couple pictures of them as well. So it was good all around from Deduin's Basement.
Beautiful basement here. And I mean, it just came down to Deduin and Sap 7. They weren't really in any, like, danger at all, right? It felt like they would step up and be like, oh, is there a Cupid on your team? I don't even feel it, right? They were able to 2v3 in that last engagement. All the meanwhile, Adapting is just on the Lost Night, hitting it down, and honestly, kind of what won them the game there.
Yeah, it was good. But luckily, because of vault bans, right, Deduin's Basement can't run that team back. So we'll be able to talk a little bit more about that later, I'm sure.
And later, it's gonna happen. Don't go anywhere just yet, because this finals, it's a best of 3. Deduin's Basement, they go up 1, but can Laboog even it out, make us go to a game 3, or will it just be over in 2? Find out right after the short break. Hello, one and all, and welcome back to Smite Prime, where the action is always premium. My name's Moonmellows. I'm joined here by Musi, Jithens, Esdai, making sure everything works all good. We just came back from a killer monster game number 1, where Daduin's Basement was able to go up 1 game, but Boog still have a chance to bring it back around. This is the best.
Well, but can they? Is the question, right? Whether or not they can is up to them. But I'll tell you what they can't do. They can't pick the same picks that they had before in the past, Moon, because we are rocking and rolling with some vault bans here. And the long and the short of it, you pick a god, you can't pick it for the rest of the set, right? All these words, that's what it says. So now we get to these game 2 silliness, shenanigans. I've really been loving the word shenanigans today because I feel like it does encapsulate what's going on here. But there's the chance that Guan Yu slips through again. Now, I don't think that either of these teams are gonna let that happen like we saw in the last game. But man, would it not be funny if it did? Because Guan Yu becomes super, super, super good here because the Kerberos was already picked away, right? All of the healers are now better because the answer to the healers have been denied. Unless we're going to try to pick an Odin and Joust, which, I mean, you can, but people are building double shell anyways. Good luck to you, sir, right? So these are all questions that we will get to answer, not on this screen, but we actually have a different screen, Moon. It's a screen where all the fun happens. Oh, yeah. Oh, you like this? Yeah,
I've seen this one before. Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Is the blue your idea? Blue your idea?
It was. Jithens was really pushing for red, but I said, Jithens, stop for a second. Let's think about it. Blue is a cool, calming color that we need to aesthetically bring this room together. Red is just so angry and passionate that we need a moment to calm down. This is our home. It's a safe, special place for us to be able to relax. And if we have too many reds, we're going to come home and be angry. So we really just want to calm that down. The vault bans.
No Guan Yu's on the walls. Oh, yeah. Oh, they're all go down below us.
Oh, well,
all 6 of those gods. Whoa, they've been there. Did you put those there? Or was that Jithens?
No, that was Jithens. Jithens put those there.
Oh, okay. They're not that great feng shui, but I see the idea.
Yeah, you know what?
Makes me a little angry.
It's open concept, which isn't my
Bans!
thing. There they are. All right. Ho Yi banned away. Jibble can't be picked. This is the Neath game. This has to be the Neath game. Probably somebody's going to pick on her, but I really hope Neath Aspect makes a showing here. I feel like she has so much attack speed, she can really abuse on-hit effects. If we're building Chin's Blade, she can hit the Chin's Blade really hard. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for either side.
Boogs, pick up Sobek first overall, and honestly, I think that's one of the stronger first pick tanks up here, but interesting. Daduin's Basement elect to go for that Geb, which I've been hearing some rumors around, and on her as well. So, Musi, you talk to me about it.
So, Hindu and I were having a conversation recently where we're pretty sure that backline supports are really good right now. Because ADCs are so good, you want somebody that can be in the back to protect the president. Geb is one of those picks that can 100% make that happen, right? You have the shield, you've got Shockwave that can offer that knockup, that can both set up and peel, and Cataclysm is good either on your team or on the enemy team to stop diving or, start a dive. So I like it, especially with a pick like on her, because now with these 2 picks, it's very, very safe. So these picks in tandem with each other are able to chill and hang out. Now you look at LeBoogs and what they got going on so far. Over this way. Medusa Sobek screams to me aggression, aggression, aggression. We are staying very, very aggro here. And you do have some CC immune ultimates with the Medusa and the Sobek, so they can keep themselves safe from a Cataclysm, from an on her impale. But if the Boogs can't keep the pressure on, this is not a team comp that wants to be chilling, that wants to be playing for the counter engage. They want to be the aggressor. So if they can't be aggressive, they're going to get shunted out pretty quickly.
Now Loki picked up your last overall, and I can only expect that to be a Loki aspect here. I'm pretty sure we saw Daduin or Sap7 run it last time, where he just ran down the competition. That's a pick that can do it. Sobek Atlas, though, also against them. So a lot of CC to work with here if you're Laboog's team specifically.
And I do want to say something about this Loki pick. Aspect Loki is what people have been going more often than not, right? It's the cheese solo pick. It does a bunch of damage. It can be super, super tanky, and I expect to see that again here for Deduin's Basement. I like this Loki pick because it offers a sense of lethality for Deduin's Basement. Plus, it's another good dive tool. If Loki's able to get the cripple on the Medusa, what is she supposed to do? You know, I feel like the Medusa's going to have a tough go this game. Just have to be super, super safe.
See if the Medusa is able to survive. Once again, let's make our way into game number 2. Laboog's versus Deduin's Basement. Again, can they end this out 2-0? Or will Laboog's bring us to game number 3? Find out right as we get into game here. My name is Moonmillows. I'm joined by Musi, Jithens, Tesdai, once again, making sure everything's running all smoothly.
So, I mentioned before that the Medusa has to be super safe, and I know that's interesting to say when you look at this Laboog's comp and you go, listen, these guys got to be super aggro. So how do you stay safe while being aggressive? And I think a lot of that has to do with actually being positioned a little bit more closely with your Sobek and with your Atlas, right? Because if you're off in no man's land, hitting your damage from max range, what are you supposed to do? Hold on.
Deduin's been caught on out early. A pluck is good, forces out the double shell, and now this Loki ain't tanky just quite yet because the rest of the Laboog's looking upon him, but a good pillar is able to get him out of there scot-free. The Astrolabe over the wall is going to proc Bluestone, but Deduin is nice and alive now. The real aggression has been turned back onto Sap 7. Don't got a pillar to save him this time. Quaqua Moquo picks up first blood.
This is what I love to see from Laboog's. Geb early game is no good, right? You've got no kill pressure. The only thing you're really doing is offering a bit of CC, but look at April. These plucks are on point and so lethal.
Adapting gets gone upon, but we are still alive. We have a Geb shield to barely make sure we can sneak out of there. LaChill dashed on in there. This Medusa early game is devious as combined with this Atlas, this Sobek, Laboog's so far running the map.
This is what you have to do, too, with this Laboog's comp. Like, you have to keep the pressure on. You have to keep staying aggressive before Deduin's Basement can hit their power spikes, right? Geb is not an early game character by any means. The On-Her needs to get their items online before they can become really relevant here. The Medusa will be able to out-damage an On-Her early game. That is what she does. And Loki needs items as well in order to be that bully character that we know them to be. So as long as April can find plucks, as long as they can force beats, which nobody from Deduin's Basement has relics right now. So for the next, 30 seconds, minute or so, this is the time to pick fights. You're level 5, you're ready to go, you still got your Aegis on your Medusa, so we just have to keep the pressure on, even if there's nothing to fight for. Look for picks, try to force something to happen. Keep your eyes on April, keep your eyes on for this charge prey, because that is going to be the difference maker. Now, if you are Deduin's Basement, and you understand that this is how Laboog's are going to be playing into you, you just have to play back. If you're going to try to defend what Laboog's is trying to execute here, which is the pluck that he finds anyways,
it's hard to play back because you're just getting put back to the enemy team. Laboog's pull you back on in, force out the Desert Fury, and there's the Cataclysm, but you look straight into Medusa's eyes. Deduin falls on down. Epriel becks and acutes them, and now you have been lacerated. Quaqua Moquo picks up another one. Laboog's are looking dominant in this early game.
Well, it's funny because Deduin's Basement was about to do what I was looking for, and that is play to have Laboog's jump on you, pop the Cataclysm on top of yourself, and then play the fight from there. You know, try to find some damage, look for pillar stuns, but that Medusa ultimate completely turns it around for Laboog's. LaChill finds so much value when there was a hair of a moment where it looked like Deduin's Basement was actually going to find a pick. Now, with so many kills so early in this game, this early gold swing for Laboog's, right as these red and purple buffs are coming up, 20, 30 seconds or so, knowing that you have the advantage, this is where you can really start to force something here. Beads down.
Woo! Epriel plucked on in, but the beads and the shield gonna keep adapting alive for now, and this Sobek took a lot of damage after that pluck, so I'm expecting that to slowly start ramping up in this game. But we talked about uh-oh territories, and a 1k gold lead is definitely kind of around that range here. Laboogs have a lot of room to work with. And the Doin's Basement, like you said, we're just waiting for that scaling moment.
Shifters are online for Deduin and for Sap 7, which shifters for Gem, honestly, I feel like he's one of the characters that maybe can't use it too well. He's getting plucked now.
Oh, Cataclysm was good, as was the Assassinate. Aegis has been forced on out, and Lachil is able to get out of the fight. Lurking in the waters, damage is good from Epriel, and it was good enough to force the rest of Deduin's Basement on out of the fight. Adapting, though, still has a full health bar, and he's definitely posturing like he still wants to get in there.
Lachil is low, but the Loki doesn't have ultimate, so he's able to stick around for a little bit longer here. Wonder if Laboogs are going to be able to contest this purple. Tearfing online for Lachil. While they have this Viper shot up, it makes the next 4 autos incredibly deadly for anybody that it can connect to. Tearfing offering a little bit more damage each time that you hit an extra auto attack. Those on hits are what makes Medusa so good. I'm really interested to see, too, what Medusa builds this game. I feel like she can use that Silver Branch build pretty effectively. I feel like she's another character that uses Dominance fairly well, too. She can go Dominance or Executioner, I think, for different reasons, right? Like, Executioner stacks so quickly, but Dominance is so good with Viper Shot. It feels like when Medusa has that Viper Shot active, for the next 4 autos, she is the best hunter in the game. And then it falls off. And then she's, like, kind of okay. Maybe not as good. So Laboogs is playing for that burst. They're playing for the pluck, burst with Medusa, reset, do it again. The Deduin's Basement just have to weather the storm. Geb can help them get there with Geb Shield and Cataclysm to stop Laboogs from getting too crazy. But even then, you just have to be so careful. Shin's Blade early pickup for adapting makes sense. Everybody and their mother is building health these days, so get some value from it.
Ooh! That was a little spicy from Deduin there. Able to just stop away at that one, but we're going on in there. Cataclysm forces out, and Medusa is the true target of the fight. Lachil, though, has the dash on out of there, but adapting, disperses on in, finds the impale. The beads is good to keep ourselves alive, and we have a stone shield on top of it. The Lion is still seeing it around. Laboogs, though, Wakwamoko has a pretty good health bar, and he's going to, in fact, use it to try and get in there. The Astrolabe does a ton of damage, but adapting, still alive for now.
When Epriel goes for that pluck, and the pluck doesn't work, that means Laboogs just have to try to get out immediately, but I like the call from Sap 7 there. Immediately guns it for Lachil, who ults a little bit too early, as they get caught up in that Cataclysm. And that is what puts them in such a rough spot where they eat so much damage. Medusa has the Aegis. They do not have beads. So you are relying on your ultimate in order to CC immune any big CCs that Deduin is going to be throwing at you. So you cannot mess up the timing there. It just can't happen. Otherwise, you're a sitting duck. Maybe a sitting snake.
Snakes, ducks, it's basically a zoo here. You know, crocodiles, snakes. A lot of reptilian favoritism here, but Sap 7 on the wraparound gets pulled back in to Lachil, thrown back towards the tower, but he has a stone shield to keep him a little bit healthy for now, and a 3-man Cataclysm. He baited you nice and good, but we don't have the damage. Adapting was doing that red buff, so just all a big bait to get them out here, but we go back on in. The Assassinate is good to Lachil, stuck with the pillar, and Adapting picks up Medusa. Epriel goes into the lurking in the waters, but it's not good enough this time because the damage from Deduin's Basement, it's online now.
You have to be careful when you're playing Medusa. Your dash can be body blocked, and that's exactly what Deduin did, getting behind Lachil, who, again, we have died with ultimate here. We are just getting CC'd, and there's nothing that we can do about it. The Cataclysm, the Assassinate, we just don't have the answers. So that window where Laboogs was looking so strong so early is starting to close because Deduin's Basement is getting items online, right? Like Sap 7 have got Genji's Guard, so does Deduin, actually. Their builds are nearly identical. But it's the cooldown that's so important for this Geb. Not only do we have shields more frequently, we have knockups more frequently, the Cataclysm comes online faster, and Laboogs and, between Epriel and Kwakumoko are constantly going to be proccing that Genji's with all the damage that they are able to just throw out. It's a consequence of playing for the poke here.
Another thing is, all of Dadoon's basement kills have gone onto Adapting's hands, so just able to get more gold, get his items online just a little bit faster. But you gotta be careful when you get plucked, but the stone shield saves his life anyway, straight into the pillar. Has to force out the shell, and now Apriel is the one in a trouble, turns back around, but Loki is here, assassinate forced. We use that petrifying gaze to stay alive, but the stone shields are just so strong. Dadoon's basement not in truly any danger here. Sap 7 on the wraparound gets pulled back in, and now LaChill trying to let the autos rain on through, but there it is again. There's that shield health bar. Sap 7 feels okay.
Yeah, we need an erosion like yesterday, and I think Apriel needs to start alting other targets, because unless Sap 7's shield is down or he's distracted or busy, anybody that we try to pluck, if Sap 7's in the area, he's shown himself to be competent multiple times now to Geb shield that Sobek pluck. There is a moment before you get flung, right as the stun hits, and that is the window of opportunity for Sap 7 to throw on that Geb shield, to cleanse the throw. So, with that, Dadoon's basement is turning this fight around. They have turned off the win con for the Boogs, right? Oh, Apriel pluck did the damage, and it's good. Well, you can't get Apriel pluck anymore. How do you win fights now? Maybe you walk into my tower and I kill you? Nah, that's not happening, bro.
It's gonna be a hard one this time. Sap 7 gets on in there, Cataclysm hits 2 people, and now he is underneath the tower. The tower is hitting them this time, but Sap 7 doesn't really care too much about it. Able to roll on out over the wall. Apriel first to lurk in those waters. His health bar ain't looking great, and I mean, you keep saying it. Yeah, go ahead. We want you to pluck into us. We dare you to, because as soon as you do it, you're gonna lose half your health bar for it.
And it's interesting too, Dadoon is running so much interference on this Loki pick, he does so much damage, and he can't die. So he's the eternal annoyance for LeBoogs. LaChill is just under so much duress. And the Medusa is really going to start to fall off here. Now we have our shifters, so there's some degree of safety, a lot of health, but Adapting has the Chin's Blade, so he's built to still box out LaChill if they end up in a 1v1. And then the Atlas has been doing a fair bit of work here.
Off on his own, forced to leap on out. The Petrifying Gaze does not find too much purchase, and Dadoon is here trying to keep his team alive. LeBoogs on the background, though, are daring this Loki, but a 3-man Cataclysm is able to get him on out of there. Gamma Ray Burst is good, but we finally hit the pluck onto Sap 7. Now it's time to throw him around. Has a shield for himself, but it's not going to be good enough, because Apriel has the Sobexum Acute to take the rock on down.
Now you have a 3v2. I would pull Lost Knight here. It's do or die at this point. If Dadoon's basement try to walk up, you can still execute combat plan Apriel pluck because there's no Geb shield to cleanse. Dadoon's basement is aware of that, so they're not even going to challenge this Lost Knight. This is a good swing for LeBoogs, finding Adapting out there alone. Quaqua Moquo, 2-0-2 on this Atlas, and putting in a lot of work, but maybe not in a way that's as loud or as noticeable as the Medusa or the Sobek. These pulls from Atlas, the CC, is so strong consistently because Sap 7 has been so focused on shielding the charged prey. We have not been worried about gravitational pull from Quaqua Moquo being able to find and execute on some scoopies, uppies. Now he's all alone.
The rest of Dadoon's basement try to find him out, but he has that escape. That's one fast Atlas. It's hard to lock him on down, but Sap 7 can't say the same. We scoop him on up, but straight into a Cataclysm for LaChill, who takes a bunch of health in turn. Apriel has been separated from the rest of his team, and now the Assassinate's going to be good. Logan on in here, and the damage is onto LaChill. Your Petrifying Gaze is over, so you're CC'd to death. Adapting on a killing spree, chasing you on a down. And Sap 7 is just playing the body block game to be annoying. Just the 2 tanks of LeBoogs left alive, and Dadoon's basement come out on top.
Man, Loki's little agonizing visions there make it so hard to kill anybody, offering so many damage mitigations there for Sap 7 when it's put on top of him. So that just makes it so that this Geb is just nigh impossible to kill, and you have the Freya's Tears, so we have more cooldown. Plus, when we lose a certain amount of health, we get more prots. Pair that with your Shifter Shield, and suddenly this Geb falls below, like, what, half health, and you just can't finish the kill on him. You're relying on Sobexecute at that point in order to get the last bit of damage in.
You guys try to do a little bit of damage to our tower, so the rest of Deduin's basement's going to make you pay for it. We picked him up, and once again, the Cataclysm is onto Lachil's head. The Phantom Shell is going to be good to make sure we don't take too much damage on the back end side of it. But look at adapting. He's just been fighting April, forces them to back on out. How dare you step forward, because Assassinate a Pillar is going to be good, and Lachil is in trouble. They're taking off the map. Deduin picks them on up, and now April has the pluck, but it's been blocked on out. Adapting picks up another. Kwakwamokwo is the only one left alive, and usually it's the team who gets the Lost Knight who picks up the tower, but Deduin's basement show that they got a team fight to play, take down the tier 1 tower, and they go for the Phoenix.
Kwakwamokwo versus 3. Can he do it? Adapting so low, but just barely stays alive. The Atlas body blocked and put in jail. Will just barely escape, but the bird can't say the same.
Bird taking a lot of damage now, and it's Sap7 who's tanking it on. The bird finally falls, adapting as the disperse to get on out of there. It's up to Kwakwamokwo and Lachil to see if they want to chase, but you can't. Deduin's basement, they're too fast. They're too on fire at this point. And now, 15 minutes into this game, it was even 5-4, but Deduin's, they take down the Phoenix, and now they have an upper hand.
Lachil's looking for a little bit of damage here. The Pridwin's down for Deduin, but doesn't look like they can find anything. I do see the erosion pickup from Kwakwamokwo. It's really solid this game, a good answer into the Geb shields to limit the effectiveness, because we saw just how big those shields were. Plus, there's so many shells in such a close proximity, erosion comes in clutch, but I worry that it might be too little too late. The mystical males are also interesting to me, because we don't really see that too often. But, you know, if everybody's building, I can't even say everybody's building Fistfire, we have a bunch of Genji's cards, so I feel like it's just there to get value from standing around. Adapting is soloing this Lost Knight, by the way, it's dead. It's just, goodbye Lost Knight, I'll miss you. Kisses.
It's the adapting special. He just goes over there and like says, bye-bye Lost Knight, and it's off the map. Bye-bye. So that means the rest of Deduin's basement gonna run it on down and see what they can find on the back end side of it. April is the target. Pluck off the mark, and now he's in our back line, but Sap7 is going on Lachil. Aegis forced, and the shell is as well, so everyone on Laboog stays alive. And adapting is taking a little bit of trouble here in the back line. Plucked back on in, but he has a Geb in his hand to try and keep him alive. It's gonna look good, and in fact, it looks even better. The Geb takes down the Sobek, and Deduin has a shield to keep themselves alive. Lachil is taking so much damage, and they're eventually going to fall on down. It's all up to Kwakwamokwo to try and make the basement stand back away, but I'm not sure if you can, because the Titan, it's pulled down to 4k HP, and Sap7 Dudu, they're making it look nasty here as they do so much. Adapting, just letting those autos fly on down to the Titan, and Dudu, their basement is going to be able to take out the finals here in the second game.
Man, so much damage put into Kwakwamokwo just to see if he could take him out as a farewell gift, but he's too tanky. You cannot get to him. So good try from Deduin's basement. It was crazy. Laboogs had such a good early game, Moon, where we had a Priel plucking, the follow-up from the Atlas, the Medusa. Oh my god, this is amazing! And then, you know, Sap was like, just remembered, I can cleanse that pluck. We don't have to get plucked by you. And then once that went out the window, the whole game went out the window. In my eyes, at least. It was very, very hard to fight into that once the Geb turned off what the Sobek wanted to do. And the Sobek was the main fight and pace starter for that team, for Laboogs. And then the other part that happens here is that Medusa gets completely shunted out by Deduin. By Deduin and by Sap7 to a degree, because they just run at the Medusa. They're like, you don't have beads, and your dash can be blocked. So what are you going to do? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to die. Like, the Medusa is so good early, then falls off a bit late, comes back, or falls off of the mid game, comes back a bit in the late game with the right build. But I don't think Medusa can use the shifters as well as some of these other characters, like maybe the On Her, who just gets value from his passive. And the fact that she was so easily able to be locked down meant that Laboogs was playing with they weren't playing down one, but two characters, because Sobek and the Medusa were not able to just play their game.
It was tough for them for sure, especially after they like tried to look at, they're like, okay, Sap7, he's shielding every Sobek pluck, let's look at him. And then you pulled him back to the rest of your team and he'd drop a 3-man Cataclysm. This comp from Deduin's basement was just too clean. Let's see what they won here. The final prizing of our Summer Bash. It's been an absolute phenomenon here for Smite Prime. June 14th to August 1st, the players had the chance to win 8,100 buckaroos, but this time today, the Doin's Basement, all three members, they won $525. These guys, they just might be the new kings of Joust.
I mean, they were looking so good last week and this week. And we could get a chance to see how everybody was looking this week as we move towards that bracket. Doin's Basement, like you said, Moon come out on top, and they had quite the run to get there. Beating out Bazinga, who was looking pretty good. LeBoogs was also fighting through some pretty important teams. You know, the Avengers they took down pretty early. Interesting to me that Hydrogen Bomb got picked out so early versus TG. Like, it was crazy. Good bracket here. I'm sad that Big Bald Men didn't make it farther. Would have liked to see a win for the Big Bald Men. But that's all right. One day, Big Bald Men, we'll get our get back. Just not today.
Looking pretty good here. And it was a phenomenal tournament. I mean, you mentioned it, right? The Doins come up big here in this moment, and quite convincingly. You mentioned it. They did it on NA. Now they did it in EU. They proved that this is their time to shine. But, hey, that's the end of the Summer Bash, but we have a little bit more next up beside it. It's the August Circuit.
Holy. Yeah, you know what? We just let the graphic do the talking, I think, Moon. Yeah.
$7,000.
You're looking at the money? That's crazy. Yeah, 7,000. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, $7,000. Yeah. What are you talking about? I'm moving on. So, 7,000 big ones for our August circuit coming up here.
Yeah,
Just
big
to let
ones.
you know that there's so much. Yeah, it's big. Yeah, big $7,000. Yup. And I'll be interested to see it. Right? I feel like we had our Summer Bash. It was a good time, but now with some more regimented circuits, I'm excited to see what teams are going to be shaken up, right? Because you're going to have the Smite Source teams that are going to be rocking and rolling. We're going to have some Smite Prime teams that are going to be rocking and rolling. Is there going to be overlap? Is it going to be the same teams? What are we going to do? There's so much good stuff coming, Moon. I'm so excited.
The horizon for Smite competitive looks beautiful out here for everyone. We're all excited. Everyone, thank you all for joining my first cast for Smite Prime. Glad to be here, a part of the team. Hopefully, you get to see a lot of me here soon, shortly. Who knows? But we'll be able to run it on down. Musi, thank you for gassing with me here. Thank you to Tesdai and Jithins, making sure everything runs all smoothly all day long. And thank you, everyone watching, making sure we're able to do this all Summer Bash long. We hope to see you in the August circuit because that's what's going to be next. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!